All right, we've got audio. Perfect. The flowers are there. What's covering the flowers? What are the flowers covering? Let's place this over here. The car here. The flat earth here. Eddie. There it is. Eddie carrying the Argentinian flag because we beat Brazil 6-0 yesterday. Eddie's pretty happy. Yes, sir. 6-0. 6-0. 6-0. He is going crazy. Brazil is out from the world plane of football. I had placed it. Oh, we are live, right? Yes. Okay, very well. We are live, and let us begin. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious day of Shabbat, cold but sunny, very peaceful, because they say that it is the peace before the storm, that a huge storm is about to come to do away with making the Los Angeles situation even worse. So then they said that we're about to enter into a huge storm, but it's a precious day of Shabbat today, and today, Shabbat the 25th of Tevat, which is the 10th month, it's on its way out this year, 5993, corresponding to the 25th day of January of the year 2025, which we shall study yet another chapter of the Spirit of the Feasts, Part 16. As you already know, we speak about everything and what takes place in this world, what takes place lately, and also about what is hidden from about the feasts of the feasts and all the rest. And today we shall study another chapter. So then, without any further ado, let us begin with a word of prayer. Our Father that art in heaven, we give you thanks for this precious day of Shabbat that you give us before the days of rain here in California. We give you thanks because we comprehend everything that you do, why you do it, and even how long you have to do it. And actually, we desire for that time to get to an end, and very soon. We give you thanks because you give us the wisdom to comprehend everything that takes place, this story, this game, and everything else. And actually, we want for the final stage to begin already. We thank you for all this in your precious name, YHWH. Alleluia. Yahweh has blessed with one more year of life the following members of the Eternal Truth: Ingrid Exmon Chelai, Maria Guadalupe Serrano Martinez, Mexico; Monica Sapulco, Mexico; Henry Adan Lopez de la Cruz, Guatemala; Marco Antonio Beraun Cruz, Peru; Jimena Duran Sandoval, Mexico; Mila Areli Vicente, Mexico; Guillermo Andres Iraira, Chile; Joana Elizabeth Felix Paredes, the Dominican Republic; Said Sauder, the US of A; Paulo Vicente Hernandez, Mexico; Ángel Raúl Montiel Jojoa, Colombia; Omar Bonilla, Colombia; and Alexa Cordero, the Dominican Republic. To each and every one of you, a great big hug on behalf of all of us, LVE, and may it be your very last birthday under this nefarious government of Yahweh along with Babylon. Last greeting, because we don't know anything about them, because they are MIA, and if you're still listening to us and you hear this greeting, this friendly greeting, you can write to us and we add you back to the list. It's just the birthday list. Don't you worry about it. It's not the book of life or anything. It's just the birthday list, nothing else. For the following: Christopher Miguel Angel Herrera, Colombia; Pedro Nel Carrascal Caviedes, Colombia; Henry Alejandro Tavares, Arco, Colombia; and Norma Florian, the US of A. To each and every one of you, a very happy birthday, And if you're listening or not, we send you our best vibes. And if you do listen to us, then write to us. Very well. As I was telling you, or as like I told you last Shabbat, this notebook that we use already has a time. It's got its problems, and actually we would need something a little faster, and actually for it to have certain things that this one does not have. And approximately the one that I saw that we have to buy for the preachings and for the studies in replacement of this, it's like 1,500. And I'd like to say thanks to Madeline, who sent especially for this project $500, and also Shol, Luis, Ruisel, Abigail, Josias, and Graciela, who sent 345. So then we have 845. I think in 2 or 3 weeks we can get the rest, and we'll buy the new PC. If one of you would like to cooperate in something for this project, then let me know, and the quantity, and I'll add it for this project. So then I think that in 2 or 3 weeks we'll buy this one, maximum a month, but we're going to let it rest already. So then, many thanks, Madeline, Scholl, Luis, Rubicel, Abigail, Josias, and Graciela. Very well. Time to go out and look for the moon. It'll be seen on, it'll be a 30th day. There's no need that we see it. We're going to change automatically the month. But it's always beautiful to go out and see it. It'll be easy to go out and see it because it's the 30th day. It'll be seen this Thursday, January the 30th at sunset. January at sunset, January 30th, when the sun's going down, or the sun's going down, and it has already disappeared, and there's a little bit of light still, the moon will be seen. And it gives a start to the month of Shabbat, which is the 11th month. And this month begins this Friday, of course, the 31st of January, the last day of January, at Thursday at sunset, that is, and for us it's already a Friday, January 31st, the month of Shabbat begins, the 11th month, and we will have one more month left, 12. This year there's no extra month. We're not going to add any Adar. So then we'll have the whole month of Shabbat, the month of Adar, and we shall begin the new year within 2 months, 5,904. 5,994. Very well. So then everyone go out and go see the moon this Thursday at sunset. Shema Israel. Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our God, Yahweh is one. Fundamental truth to begin to understand the scripture. Yahweh is the creator, the designer, and protagonist in creation and in anything that happens in this earth as only being. There's no other being that accompanies him. There's no other son that he has or plays the role of a son that accompanies him. None of that exists. But rather, it's only one being, only one creator, which made this whole earth and made it as he pleased. It is his creation. He does whatever he wants. He is the creator of good and evil, of what's righteous, what's not right, what you like and what you don't like. All that, he creates it, and he makes it, takes it into fulfillment. John 8:31-32, then Yeshua said unto the Jews that had believed on him, that Yeshua is Yahweh, concealed as all the scripture is, that everything would be concealed as the scripture that it was made is concealed. If ye were to remain in my word, ye shall truly be my disciples, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. I've told you 1,000 times over, but I remind you, these words, no one understands them. People believe, the Christian people that is, that believe in that Yeshua as a Savior, aside from God the Creator Yahweh, They think that it's his son. Christian people believe that the words that make you free are the ones that are found in the Gospels, Matthew, Luke, and John. Those are the words that make you free. And they don't notice that they're not free. They're as imprisoned as all the rest, whether it has scripture or it doesn't. They are imprisoned. And I don't even know if not even more imprisoned, because they place their whole faith and their whole hopes with their hope in words that they believe that give liberty, when those words actually don't give liberty. This phrase that is so famous, "You shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free," is said by the Messiah. Yahweh is representing the Messiah, which is something else that no one understands. I mean, they don't even imagine. It has not come to their imagination. Yahweh came to play the role, which is not that it is him, but rather it's a role representing what was to the Messiah was to do, which in other words is the anointed by him. In other words, with different names, it's the sons of Elohim, the sons of man, the wife, the bride, the lamb, a whole bunch of other names to conceal the character. And Yahweh came showing that character, but he was not the Messiah. In other words, the Messiah never came. And that is what the Jews say. The Messiah has not come. So when the Messiah comes, he's going to do things which that Jesus that you say that he didn't do. That he barely even touched on some things, that he healed someone here and there, and it's not enough to make him the true Messiah. When the Messiah does come, he's going to change this earth. He's going to transform this world. He will transform the animals. That he didn't do. That person that you say that is the Messiah, with true reason, with absolute reason, the Jewish people, non-Christian, say so. Why? Because what came was a shadow of the Messiah, such a shadow as the feasts. The feasts were not something which really was the essence, the application thereof. Every time they would celebrate Pesach, there was nothing in that celebration. It was just a shadow of something that was to be fulfilled. Well, the coming of Yahweh as a Messiah was a shadow of the Messiah. So then, having understood that concept that is so incredibly profound, which no one comprehends nor can comprehend unless one tells it to them. And if he tells it to them, they won't believe it until they understand it, because someday they will believe it. There they comprehend, those that want to comprehend this concept, that the words that Yahweh is pronouncing under the skin of Messiah are the words that the Messiah will say unto everyone. When the true Messiah does come, the Messiah will say, if ye were to remain in my word, not in the Bible, not in the Torah, not in the prophets, not even in what you believe that God is, but rather in my word, the Messiah will tell to the world, look, in my word is life. In my word is the truth. The rest is all lies. That is the basic concept of this phrase. Ye shall truly be my disciples, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The only freedom that humans will experience, it is when the Messiah speaks. And when the Messiah speaks, he is upon all the words, the religions, the books, the Bible. God is God, everything, the whole concept which gives part. It's only the words. That's what it says, in my word. That is the concept of the Messiah. That is why Yahweh, utilizing the form of the Messiah, said this. The whole world misunderstands this. The whole world believes that the words that Jesus said, it's what make you free, and absolutely not. If you understand that Jesus is not the Messiah, but rather it was a figure of the Messiah, Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim to conceal the word, yet honor of the king is to search out the word. The word is hidden. It is absolutely clear, but it's also hidden. The Messiah is the Messiah is the word. I've just told you those that remain in the word of the Messiah. John 1:1 says that the word, in the beginning the word was with God, and God was the word. What it means is that the word, which is the Messiah, is concealed. So then, if it's concealed, of course, the people are going to make mistakes trying to understand the Messiah, and will try to identify the Messiah, that which is not the Messiah, because it's concealed until it is uncovered. If the concept is not understood, Shemah Israel, YHWH Ekhad, the whole concept of the Messiah will be misunderstood, because they'll think that the Messiah is the one that came. If the whole Christian world were to understand that there's only one God, they would start to comprehend that God cannot be the Messiah, cannot be the Messiah. Either he's God or he's the Messiah. One of the two. A God creator can come, a unique one, and then act as the Messiah. Then who anoints him? Because the text of Psalms 40, it is very clear that it says that is why I made you a Messiah, because to sit in your throne, oh God, I make you God. Why do I make you a God for humanity? Because, and I make you a Messiah. That is why I anoint you. That's why I make you a Messiah. And why do I make you a Messiah? Because you have loved the justice and you have abhorred wickedness. That is why, that is the reason that I make you Messiah. So then, once we understand all those concepts, it is very clear that there is no one in all of this flat earth, in this whole world, that understands this concept except for one group. One group. That makes him unique, and that gives Yahweh the possibility of continuing on with his next play, and his next play is he shall anoint the Messiah. Jeremiah 16:19-21. Yah was my strength and my fortress, my refuge in the day of tribulation. Unto thee shall come the peoples from the ends of the earth, and shall say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. All of the people will say only lies. All the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims, the pagans, those that don't believe in anything, they will all say only lies. But I believed in a Christ that would come and rapture me and would take me to heaven. I believed in a heaven. I believed that this earth would disappear. I believed that this earth would burn. And even though I lived in Los Angeles, I almost seen that the earth would be burned, but it was just a part of it. I believed all that. I believed that there was a hell. I believed that the evil people would go to hell, and actually, profoundly, I believed that I would go to that hell. I had the hope that somebody would save me, and that he would place my justice, because I have no justice, because I'm evil, because I know that I deserve to go to hell, and it was all a lie. We wake up from this dream of lies. They will all say that. They will all say that. From the pastors, the priests, the rabbis. They're all going to say that. Only lies. Only lies. Our hope were all lies. Our faith was a lie, because we had faith in a God. When the faith has to be had in ourselves. But no, that's impossible. I have faith in God. That's a lie. Only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. Vanity to which there is no avail. To top it off, it was no good. If you start to think, or to analyze, or inspect every point of religious point, you'll see that is no good. Because every religion, all your faith, all of your trust in a God, whether it's the Jews, or the Christians, or the Arabs, or whomever, In the moment in which that God is removed, and they say this was a lie, what is left of that religion? Nothing. Nothing is left. They're going to say, but I mean, we at least saved this part. No, nothing. Nothing, zero. Absolutely zero. What could be left from a Christian about his faith? If you analyze every point of this faith, what can be left? I believe in a God of three people. What is left out of that? Nothing. Another might say, I believe in a God and his Son. The Christians might say, what is left out of that? Nothing. I believe a God, the Holy Spirit. What is left about that? Nothing. Then they believe in the justification by faith. Nothing. Then they believe in that they're going to go to heaven. Or the state of the dead. Some believe that when you die, you go to heaven. Others believe that you die and you're sleeping. Others believe that you die and you can go directly to hell. What is left from all that? Nothing. So then, out of every point, the belief that Christ is coming, that is true, but not the way they believe. The Messiah comes, yes, of course he comes, but not the Messiah they're waiting for. They're waiting for a divine Messiah that is in heaven right now, that it was the same Messiah from 2,000 years ago. What is left of that? Nothing. Nothing. Some believe in the Ten Commandments. What is left of that? Nothing. Nothing. Just like that. Nothing. Others believe in other commandments. What happens with that faith? Nothing. Nothing is left. So then, all the faith, once you simmer down and the beliefs, nothing will be left. They're going to say, it's all a lie. Completely, it's all a lie. Everything that was taught to us, what my parents taught us, what my religious fathers taught me, it's all a lie. Only lies, and there is no avail in it. At least I got some of it. There's none. No, nothing. In the most clear of the cases is when Nicodemus, an expert in the law, the Jewish law, and in the Jewish beliefs, as God had given him. We're not talking as a distortion of translations that another commentator, no. An authentic Jew with the law of Moses of that time, the rest, quote unquote, pure, the most pure, and to top it off, a good guy, because he was a good guy. He was a good guy with the most purest belief given by Yahweh to humanity. The Messiah sees him and says, you know what, Nicodemus? You have to be born again. You have to be born again. Nor your people that make you Jewish, nor your beliefs in Moses and the Torah can allow you to understand the doctrine of the Messiah. You cannot understand it. You have to be born again. If you even care to understand, if you care to see the kingdom of God, you think you see a kingdom of God? No, you don't see it, because it's fake. It is fake what you believe. It is fake what you believe in the Torah. It is fake to believe all those commandments. It is fake the God that made you see those things, because he lied to your face. And even more, the God that you believe in is the God of lies. With all that information, he would have been left like speechless. That is why Yahweh told him, who was playing the role of the Messiah. The Messiah tells an authentic Jew, a good person, and with purest religion given by Yahweh, it says, you have to be born again. It is no good. What about my circumcision, at least? What about my circumcision? That even less. To top it off, we have to rebuild what you cut off, or what they cut off. To top it off, that nothing is good. Nothing is good. Absolutely nothing. And they see that so clear. It's not that I'm making it up. I'm making up a doctrine, or that I'm in a delirium of greatness, or in a complex of a Messiah complex. Some people can believe. Wow, they think they're whatever. They have a Messianic. They see it and distorted. Nothing's being distorted. We have Yahweh in the figure of the Messiah that tells a Jew, an authentic Jew, your religion is no good. But the religion is the one that Yahweh gave. It's no good. It's just as good as that of the Aztecs, the Inca, or the Orientals. that believe in everything else. It's no good. To believe in Yahweh or in a star, it's the same thing, because everything, you have to throw it away, and it has to be born again. That is the end of the world. That is the final play, which will transform this world. There is no religion up until now written, given, that can make this world marvelous. None. If we see the side of the Jews, what is the perspective of their religion? To build a temple, for a human Messiah to come, but to fulfill the law. For a human Messiah to come, to make the Torah to be fulfilled, every inhabitant of the world under the penalty of death. That is the Jewish belief. So then those that are not Jews, give them the 7 Noahide laws. They call them the Noahide laws, that they reinterpreted, of course. And they said, okay, you don't have to keep the Shabbat, but you have to fulfill these requisites under penalty of death. That is the ideal of a perfect Jewish world. The rest of the Jews, we're going to worship Hashem, Yahweh, the way he wants us to worship him. It's not gonna be, we need a temple, not just anywhere. We need to once again to bring all of the priesthood back and to do everything that was done before. That is the Jewish perspective. Would that be a happy world? No, that would be an even worse world than what we've lived now in Babylon. If they offer that to me, or Babylon, I'd rather live and die in Babylon and not to live one day under the perfect Jewish world. If we're going to go to the Arab perfect world, the same thing. The Jewish perfect world, or Christian, you already know what it is. The Jewish perfect world is that there's no world. The world is destroyed. Nothing is left. Nothing is left. So then other new worlds are left. The heaven is left for those that are good, justified by their Christ, because they're evil, but actually they were justified, covered by an imputed justice by Christ, and there's a hell for the evil ones, and to top it off, it's an eternal hell for them to suffer forever, for all eternal ages with no end, suffering. And when they're very well separated, their Christ, which they think is just and good, will create a new world for them, a new earth where the whole world, and every day they'll be worshiping and applauding and singing songs for their Christ and for their God. That would be the perfect Christian world. Do we like that idea? It's abhorrible. It's abhorrible. From the very same point of view of any other religion, that's abhorrible. We don't even have this earth. There's no salvation except for them. For all those that have died, a Christian, I want you to understand, a Christian, an authentic one, so authentic such as was Nicodemus in his Jewish religion, believes that all who have died, which are billions upon billions of people that have never heard of their Christ, never. They're going straight to hell. I was listening some time ago, some Christian pastor that was saying, it makes my heart hurt just by thinking about all those people that have lived on this earth and still live, and due to our slack, we have not taken life to them, which is the word of life, which is Jesus. If we do not teach Jesus to them, those people are going to hell. There's no chance for them, because the Bible says, so then they read that there is no other path other than Christ, because Christ said, I am the truth, the way, and the life, or in a different order. Nobody comes to the Father or salvation if it's not through me. And if those people lived and died without Christ, they're going straight to hell. Every Christian believes that reality. Every Christian, so then all the races, indigenous, oriental, African, and all the rest, that have lived their lives without that Christ, without that faith that they say they have, they're dead. Not dead, they are alive, suffering in hell. So then it is our responsibility to save others. It depends on us. All that in their mind, which for me it's incomprehensible. So then you've got Christ like this, looking down and see, let's see you. Who else are you going to bring to me? Because I'm not going to do anything. I've already done everything. You have to go and communicate to a Chinese person, a Vietnamese person, or another African that I exist and I can save you. But if you don't do it, I'll send them all to hell either way. If you do your job, then I can save you. But you have to bring them to me. You have to believe in me in order for me to act. What type of a Christ do they have? A Christ, to top it off, he's an imbecile. He's an accursed Christ. If you stop to think that Christian Christ is an evil being because he, the only one that he wants to save, is those that have lived, and as long as they had conscience, believed in him, and it was your job to bring those people to him and to give them the lie or the story for them to believe and get baptized, then he saves them. What an accursed jerk. The Christian Christ is deplorable, a deplorable being, a wicked being. Of course, tell that to a Christian and he's going to start puking. Can't be, my Christ is Jesus. No, if your Christ was Jesus, then it doesn't need for you to communicate to others. He would go. He would go. Doesn't your Bible say, I am at the door and I call? Doesn't that Christ that you believe in, doesn't he say that I am at your heart's gate and call? If you open, I'll go in and dine with you, and we'll have a good time, and I'll give you oil for your eyes for you to see, and clothing for you to dress. Or else, you are out of here. Off with you to hell. That is the Christian Christ, misunderstood, accursed. Every religion with their point of view of a perfect world is wrong. We go back once again. What group wishes to resurrect every human being and not to lose one, not even one, to teach them what is right, to show them what is right, correct them, help them, and for them to live eternally, every last one of the persons. Look for a group that wants that, and you'll find the Elohim of justice. As long as there is no group that believes in that all human beings will be saved, that they will all once again live, then you have yet to find the Elohim of justice. You have found different Elohim of injustice, every last one of them. As long as you don't find that characteristic, because everyone, through someone's work, they will come and say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. Those people were deceived. Those people, after being resurrected, because it says all the peoples of the earth will come. Those people, after being resurrected, will come and say, in the end of it all, what we believed in was a lie. According to the Christians, we cannot be saved because they lived and died without their faith that they needed. They have no chance to be resurrected, and for the truth to be explained to them, they have no chance. So then this text, they should grab it and throw it away. That will all say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers, vanity to which there is no avail. If it is man that makes himself gods, then they're not gods. Then they are not gods. Then the Jewish God is not a God. Then the Christian God is not a God. The Trinity is no God. He is just an invented God. He's no good. No good. The Christian God, Jesus Christ that you see in all the churches is a made-up God. He's no good because he is not the true God. It's just whatever. Is an invention. The Christian God is, to whom we always knelt to and said, thank you, Christ. Christ Jesus invented God. They are not gods, it said. They are not gods. That is why, behold, I shall make it be known unto you in that opportunity. This time I shall show you the strength of mine arms, and the strength is the Messiah. and you shall know that my name is Yahweh. The whole world will know the truth. But in order for this to be true, there has to be a group that has understood this, no matter if it's 10 or 300 or 600 or 700 or a small group. I don't set the number. Yahweh has the number already in his game. In his game, he says, in the end of time, in this whole bunch of lies that I sent to them, then I'll have a group that understands the truth. That group is the only one that can guide this world. Why? Because they're the group that desire for everyone to live. They're the group that says, no, these are going to hell for life, and this because of and someone else's justice, they're saved. No, that's not what I want. They need to know the truth. There's only one group that says it is not by God's justice. We do not save, not by God's justice, by our own justice, by our own justice. And what is the maximum justice? To save this whole creation, even earth. From whom? From God, and from the men that believe in God. So then, that is why it is Israel. They fight against God and fight against men, especially men who believe in God. That battle is not a corporal fight or a fight to the death, but an opposition. And he shows you in the example in which Jacob was fighting with God, in which from that battle he comes out wrong, but he doesn't do too well with that fight, but he is come out victorious. And in the example, Jacob starts to fight with a being that identifies that is Yahweh and fights, mind you. We're talking about a fight, okay? We're not just dancing a little tango. It was not dancing like how we danced against Brazil 6-0. No, that's a fun one. And the carnival was turned off. We turned off their carnival, and the tango went up. So then, the fight that there was between Jacob and Yahweh noticed that it was not an assault. Well, Yahweh is somebody that assaults. It was not thief. Well, Yahweh is a thief, though. It was not a person that was coming to steal from the well. You already know. You know where I'm going. It was not a common person. It was a different being, and he noticed. And in the fight, he grabbed him and he said, I will not let you go without you blessing me. That is applied to us, because we are fighting against Yahweh, fighting against Yahweh with our whole against his religion, against his laws imposed on the world, his Babylon government, against his injustice, his curses. We fight against everything. But at the same time, we tell him, and we won't let you go. We won't stop fighting against you until you bless us. What is the blessing? When he makes us and anoints us. That is the only way that we let him go, because he has to bless us. Just like that. We are fighting against him so that he blesses us. That is the most clear example, so that you can see. It's not that we're fighting against Yahweh to destroy him. We can't destroy him. And we don't want to destroy him. In that order, we cannot, but also, if we could, we wouldn't want to. It's not our fight against them. Our fight against them, by understanding all these things, knowing that he's our Father, our real Father, knowing that he's our only true maker, we fight against them so that he blesses us, because the only thing that we have on Punta now is curses from him. So then we're fighting against them so that he blesses us. You don't have a most clear example of what I'm saying than the fight of Jacob and Yahweh. In the end of it all, Yahweh tells him, you know what, Jacob? Or no, his name was not Jacob. Yes, his name was Jacob. You know what, Jacob? I'm going to change your name. From now on, you're going to be called Israel. So then that's the true Israel, the one that fights against Yahweh and wins. The Israel does not fight against Yahweh, that obeys Yahweh, is not Israel. It's a fake Israel. So then whatever, even if it's race from Israel, even if they come to the very David, their line of their lineage, it does not make them Israel. Israel is made by those that fight against Yahweh. And it says, I will not let you go. I know that I can't beat you, and you still hurt me. You hit me in my thigh. You bend me, because that is what happens when he hits you in your thigh. He bends you, but I won't let you go until you bless me. That is the true Israel. Once you understand all this, that I leave it very clear to you, you might say, wow, but actually, the image is clear. It was during the night. Nothing was seen exactly. Exactly. In the morning is when he let him go and he blessed him. Exactly. And we're about for it to become daylight, and we're still fighting against Yahweh and telling him, give us your blessing. Look at what we did here in the 2024, the decree LVE in Yom Kippur. What did we do? What we did was to fight against this. It is all your fault. We place it upon your head, but now give us your blessing. And notice, we fight, but we ask him for the blessing. It's not that we do not abhor Yahweh in no aspect sense of the world. No matter how many times you hear me and say, this is Yahweh's fault, he's a son of a bitch. It doesn't matter anything that I say. That does not matter. It's like a woman when she's upset against her husband and she can call him whatever thing. It's not that she abhors him. Well, there could be cases, but it's not our case. A couple that really loves each other, but her husband does things that are no good. It's not that she abhors him, but she's fighting against her husband, fighting to obtain something. Exactly. So then, under no aspect, never do you get confused that we abhor Yahweh. No, of course not. It is the being that we love the most, but we're fighting against him. We fight against him. We blame him for everything because we comprehend everything and we want his blessing. That is the eternal truth. Very well. Malachi. Yes. Oh, happy birthday to the eternal truth. Yes, of course. No, but you didn't write it down on the list of the birthdays. You didn't write down the list of the birthdays. You didn't add it to the list. The eternal truth is 16 years old ever since we're under the official name Ministry of the Eternal Truth with the website. So then, happy birthday to LVE, 16 years. Wow. Incredible. With chapter 16 of this series, with chapter 16 in Leviticus, which is Yom Kippur, it's excellent with everything. The sweet 16, wow, and that is when it is legal to get married. So then, Yahweh, if you pretend to have a wife, but actually with balls, this wife has, if you love her, then she is at a legal age. Not everywhere. In other places it's 18. But in a legal age now, she is now 16. We're no longer a little girl. We are almost, no, not almost, we're already a woman. 16 years old. Wow. The eternal truth is 16 years old. Impressive. And precisely as it turns out for this stage, because so little is left, because on February 5th is when the portal begins of being able to be fulfilled at any time, the purification of the temple, which is the purification of the temple. Bless me, the purification of the temple is to make this group into anointed, to make him a Messiah. Not a Messiah, the only Messiah for humanity. And the portal for that is opened on February 5th. It doesn't mean that it has to be on February 5th, but it says that the time says, okay, Yahweh says that 2,300 days are up ever since they started a purification, and precisely now we are 16 years old as the eternal truth, symbolically speaking, all the rest. It's spectacular, everything is. Next week we enter into February 5th, where the portal is open, so that at any moment, which is 7 years that Yahweh has, but he has to do it before, because if he wants to enter into the millennium, give or take, well, he can't do it the very last day of the sixth millennium. It'll be an entire recuperation within the seventh millennium. We enter into a disastrous Shabbat. We understand that the Shabbat, we have to prepare ourselves before, and that was all done to learn that the Shabbat, a millennial Shabbat, it also required a preparation before and to be ready. So then within those 7 years that separate us still from the seventh millennium, it is when this has to take place. The more time we have, or the longer the Messiah has, it'll be better. A lot better. The more time the Messiah has. So then, that is when we have Yahweh grabbed, and we tell him, bless us, bless us. And at that point in time, he changes our name to Israel, which is symbolic, changes our name to Messiah. Because what is Israel in a symbol is the Messiah of humanity. It says, Messiah says, I made you Israel as the light unto the nations. Who is the light unto the nations? The Messiah. So then only that name and that people is an entire figure for the Messiah, nothing else other than that, and for nothing else other than that. Once what the Messiah is closed, what Israel is stops fulfilling a function, and no Israelite that has ever lived or exists now will ever have an advantage over another, because Israel means the Messiah. So then, if it is the Messiah for humanity, the only thing that was good about all of Israel and everything is to get the Messiah from there. Once you get the Messiah from there, Israel already does not have priority in anything. So then what does it mean? That when Yahweh anoints the Messiah, both a Jew as a Indian that was born 2,000 years ago and died, sacrificing human beings, has the very same chance. So then not one has an advantage over the other. Both inherited lies entirely. I hope you understood what I'm saying. Malachi 2:17, and that is why we have here King Kong. We've got the octopus that is, well, the little octopus that you can't really see. There you go. Let's see the eyes. There you go, the little octopus. Eddie, who says 6606060. The little octopus here. We're never going to forget about that 60, mind you. Notice, it is biggest result between Brazil and Argentina, between Argentina and Brazil in all of the male selections. Brazil is going through the worst football stage that ever exists. I'll tell you why. Brazil is going through the worst football stage that they have, because they entered the anonymous societies into the football teams. This is something which only an Argentinian that was brought up as a fan in football can explain to you, and you can start to feel it. When I came here, they told me, what Mexican team do you like? And I looked and I said, well, what teams do they have? I said, well, we've got this, the flock, the sacred flock. What? These goats? No, they're the chivas, the holy chivas from Guadalajara, the holy flock. I said, they looks like crazy goats that don't even know how to play. Okay, fine. And what else do we have? We have the America. El America. What? Oh, kind of yellow. I don't like it. And what about other characteristics? They said, well, the Chivas, no foreigner can play in their team. No foreigner, no Argentinians can? Nope. Then. I mean, that's enemy number one right there. They're bad at playing. to start with, and they don't want to learn how to play. They're like, but we could have a coach that's Argentinian. No, we need Argentinian players if we want to learn how to play. No, who did these guys think that we're all Mexicans here and we have these Chivas, we all play all Mexicans? No, you can all fuck off. No, I don't want to know anything about that team. Tell me another team. The Necaxa, El America, that other one here's not. I didn't like any of them. I said no. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them. Tell the truth. And last question, how were these clubs formed? They said they all have an owner. They all have an owner? They're like, yeah, they all have an owner. Oh no, I'm not a fan of Coca-Cola or a fan of, I don't know, some company, whatever, of computers. What do you call from Aces or Ford or Chevy? Oh no. How is a team going to have an owner? From the moment that a team has an owner, commercial team, I do not place my love for that. No, forget it. Take it. No, that's your team. I can't feel any love. That's the difference between a club from a neighborhood. You know how the clubs in Argentina were born as societies, local societies. In other words, we would come here and we would say, hey, let's make a club here in the city. They said, okay. And then the neighbors come and they said, we're all going to pitch in. And they're like, okay. And then we all start to pitch in and we all choose a president. And between all of us, we buy a little place. Between all of us, we buy a little place. And what is formed is a club, which is of the neighborhood, is of the neighborhood, because we all cooperated. Who owns it? No one. It's ours. The club is of the associates. We feel as owners of that club because it's ours. We pay for it every month. We pay for the quote. We're associates, not an owner from outside. We own it. The club starts to grow, and that is how all the Argentinian clubs started to grow. Boca, River, Independiente, Racing, San Lorenzo, and all the rest. As clubs from a neighborhood, little tiny ones, but since the neighbors come and say, hey, I want to cooperate, I want to pitch in, here is my associate number, they give me a little card, and you pay this much a month? Yeah, you can pay that much a month. So then the owners are the associates. And what rights do we have? We have the rights that if we pay for a monthly fee, we can go and watch the games, we can vote. We can vote who the president is, and the directors every 4 years it is renewed. So then, if we don't like a president because he stole money, he did things that we don't like because he brought bad players or didn't bring any good players, he sold what he had. If it's so bad, the situation, we all get together, all the associates, more than 50%, and we impeach him. We kick him out completely. We kick him out. I explained to you how a football team works, where the associates are the owners. So then we say, this can't be, he's stealing everything. We all go and sign an order. Since we're associates, we pay, we are the owners. And we say, this president is out of here. And he leaves that day. So then we all get together and we choose another president. Whomever we want to choose. That's what's marvelous. There are presidents who steal, there are presidents who do things wrong. If you don't kick them out, then in the 4 years they wait for somebody that they like. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's fine because we're owners. What happens what happened in Brazil? In Brazil, they made the big mistake of capitals from outside and dirty capitals to top it off, because all that come to invest in soccer, they come to invest to wash money. They come capitals that they don't know where they proceed, and since the FIFA is in it and it's all dirty business, soccer is the worldwide, they came with capitals with $500 million and they said, well, how much is this club? And they put a price on it and they bought it. So then now the owner of the club are not the associates. The owners of the club are a group of a company, and that company will rule the team to either make him a champion once in a while or to destroy it entirely. So then what takes place? What happens is this. What happens is that
Already, you cannot vote to kick them out because already they are a private owner. So then the fans, they lose the love because they're not the owners. They are fans of Pepsi. It's the same thing as to be a fan of, I don't know, I mean, just whatever bought team or any team from England. I mean, you have to be completely an idiot to be a fan. I mean, to even watch any game in England. Because the owner that owns City from England is the same owner of what's this team? This French guy that played with Messi? Well, PSG. Same owners. The Arabs came and they bought this team, bought that team, and they bring best players, and the people start to watch. I don't watch one sole game, not from Spain. I don't watch them because they are nauseous. They are nauseous to watch the games. If the owner is Coca-Cola, I don't watch them. Just like that, I just don't watch them. In England, I don't watch one sole game because I am a fan of the clubs, not a fan of the corporation. I hate corporations. So then I could care less who the fuck plays, nor the category that they have. The Real Madrid does not exist for me, just like Barcelona does not exist for me, even if Real Madrid would seem that it comes from associates and blah, 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 but they have a president that apparently he's more of an owner than anything. Anyway, taking that out, I don't watch them. Because there's no passion. Did you know that Real Madrid doesn't even have passion? The people from Real Madrid, those that go to the game, I was watching a video, they go to the game and they're all tourists. They're all tourists that come to watch Real Madrid. There is no passion. They don't know what passion is. A player just came from Spain, which actually, he's from Vasquez. He's, what's his name? Ander Herrera, is that his name? Ander, I forgot his name. Oh, I forgot his name. He's new for me. Came to Boca. Do you know why he came? Because he says there's no passion anywhere in the world like I saw it in Argentina. My dad worked under Herrera, right? My dad worked for a time in the Bombonera in the Club Atlético Boca Juniors. Herrera, right? And he taught me what the passion is under Herrera, right? He showed me the passion of what is felt there. And I, like, a great player, mind you. A great career this guy has. He said, I want to finish my last year's per se. He's 35 years old. I want to come and play here in Boca. It is my dream. To see those people, to see what is felt, it is my dream. Well, that passion cannot be bought. There is no money in the world that can buy passion. That is why if anyone comes, an Arab millionaire comes and says, how much is Boca? And they're like, I don't know the structure. I mean, I don't know. $200 million. Then the fields, 100 more. Well, let's say $300 million is the structure. Oh, he says, I want to buy it. What are you going to buy? The structure you're going to buy. That is what the structure is worth. Now, the love of the people, there is no fucking Arabs in the world with 10,000 worlds that they could buy it. It has no price. We don't sell it to you. The day that there's by a mistake by someone in Boca or the people and they sell Boca, that day I renounce Boca Juniors. And I'll say, no, that's it, you have an owner, I don't want to have anything to do with you. That's what happened in Brazil. That's what happened in Brazil because the people lost the passion. That happens also in the companies and in the churches. They're private, the churches are. They're private. This group, the Eternal Truth, we are the owners. We, all of us, every last one of us, every one of you that make up the Eternal Truth, we are one. We're the owners. When we receive the prize, we receive it together. If you go to a church, you do not own that church. You cooperate with that church, but that church, you do not own it. And you will not receive anything because you are a part of that church. No. On the other hand, the Eternal Truth are a society of football where the fans, you in other words, where your fans, you are the owners. The owners. That is what the eternal truth is, and that is why I am showing it to you. The love that you have upon something cannot be paid for. How much could they pay you for renouncing to the love of the eternal truth? How much? I mean, give a price. Is there a price? Maybe some of you do have a price. Maybe. There's always a price. Somebody has a price. There's always some, well, if they were to give me $100 million in my bank account right now, then I won't listen anymore and I'll leave. Then set me in the list of those that are MIA in their birthday. But most of you, and I want to believe that most of you, there is no price that could buy you. That is the passion of the Argentinian soccer. And Brazil, Chile, Uruguay made a mistake. The Chilean football is worse every time because they sold their fans. They were sold out. They were all sold out. That is what I want you to understand. I know that many of you don't understand that. You don't understand it. That is why when the Mexicans go and all the rest to go watch soccer, they don't go so upset. Well, it's fine. If they lose 6-0, nothing happens. They eat a little taco and a beer. Okay, that's fine. They're used to losing or winning. They don't feel that passion. Tremendous passion that a fan that owns his own team feels. In other words, I will not pay, and I was thinking about it sometimes if I should pay the Boca fee just to feel like I'm a part of it. I don't pay for the fee, but it's not too far. But if I were in Argentina, I would pay monthly. And did you know that the people that sustain Boca Juniors, they pay the fee? I think that it's like $20 a month, something like that. I don't want to make a mistake. $15 or $20 a month. That is a fortune. There are fans, people from there, that sometimes they sacrifice not to eat in order to pay for their money, so that their associate to have their associate card. Did you know how many associates, active associates Boca has? Has more than no, well, if I say the numbers and I make a mistake, but they have, yeah, I could make a mistake. It has more than 200,000, something like that, What happens is that in the field only 50,000 enter. So then Boca, 23,000, and it's $23. It's $23, and when I speak for Boca. I speak for every Argentinian club. For River, for every Argentinian club. So then, what happens? Boca, now, if you want to become an associate, they tell you, we cannot give you the membership to enter into the field. You're going to have a membership that says something else, that you're an adherent associate. They had to make that up because the active associates are the ones that can enter into the field. The adherent ones cannot enter into the field, but when an active associate dies, then if you're in the order, then you can become active. And there are people that even more than 10 years, they pay as an adherent without being able to enter into the field. Mind you, for 10 years, as an adherent associates, they pay, and they cannot watch one sole game from Boca. They can't, but they're paying with the hope that when somebody dies, they can become active. And when you become active, wow. There it is. Out of those 300 and something, many are active, are adherents. Now, active associates, if they were to enter into the field, all the active ones, they will not enter. So then the club says, okay, we could do this, Look. Those that come every game, whether it rains or there's a storm and they come to enter into the field, they will be able to continue to come. If you fail one sole game, that at the entrance you didn't show your card, because you see, it's all by computer. You show your card and they scan that you entered. If you missed a game, then what you'll lose are many games, and there are many active associates that want to enter in your place. So then, in order to keep your place that you can enter, you'll enter whether you're sick or not, even if you get married, and that whatever, you have to go to the field. And I find that to be excellent, because there's nothing worse than to see everything empty. There's nothing worse than that. So then the Boca field is always filled, because if they don't go, they take the place from those that are waiting. They say, let's see, if they miss out, then we enter. enter. And there's another group that is in a rotation, that they go kind of like a roulette per se, to see when they can enter. So then there are so many people that want to enter that they cannot enter. So then they go. What do you call that? It's not by lots. They cast lots. So then all the active ones we cannot enter because it's all failed. But there's a group, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 per se, that will be just, they'll cast lots and they say your name came up. Are you going to come? If you don't go, you won't enter later. Again, I tell you how the insanity is, so you comprehend that it's not like, oh, I want to enter. Can I enter? No. No, of course not. Here it costs. There is a cost. There's a prize. Sometimes it takes years to enter. Of course, if you're a foreigner, there is a place for foreigners. They pay a lot to enter, and there's an internal business that if I were the president of the book, I would eliminate. I would not allow any foreigner to enter. Who the fuck are you, foreigner? If I just want to let those that love the club to enter, not come and see how do we. No, that's dog shit. I know there's a business within the government of Boca, so then the foreigners, they come and they pay $100, $200, they let them enter. Of course, the associate gets so upset. I've been playing for years, I can't enter, and these sons of bitches of all the colors and races that don't know anything about, and they come to my field that I want to enter, I'm an owner of the field. That is why the fans of the Argentinian soccer, they feel an owner of the club. There wouldn't be any foreigner or tourists. There is, yes, there is. And you know how they get upset? I always see Chinese, Koreans, what the fuck are they doing here? But of course they pay, and they get coupons, and see, so that's what humans are. So then I tell you this whole story so that you see the difference between, oh, I like this club, and I pay for the entrance. Who owns the club? Some economical group, I don't know, whatever. Then a club that you're the owner. You see the difference? For many things of what I said for you is new, right? You see the difference, right? Well, you are the owner of the eternal truth. This group, we're all owners, we're all associates. And so we're associates, you have to pay for your fee. Many of you don't pay it. Evidently. You could care less. If I were to say active associates, it'd be very little. And adherent associates, almost none. And free associates, most of you, they're like, I'm a free one. I'm a free one. The most of them, they don't worry. Not even to pay their little fee. Those that love something, they pay for the fee. They pay for the fee. That is what tithes are. That is what tithes are. Exactly. There's no other way of measuring love than by showing it through your resources. It comes after you love something. Exactly. That is all. That is everything. That is everything. I've always told you, if when you're a fan of something and you want to be a part of something, well, you have to give a fee, right? You have to give a fee and be a part of it. That is the difference. That is why Brazilian soccer, large corporations bought it. The one that was a champion, Botafogo, I think, there was a champion. I didn't watch. I could care less. The final those played in River and the Libertadores, the Botafogo played. Botafogo is broke. It was bought by a group. They did something that they do on purpose, and they had to disarm it. It's a disaster. It is nauseous. I could never, ever be a lover of something that has an owner. No. I could like it. Coca-Cola per se, but I'm not gonna be faithful to Coca-Cola. The day I wanna drink Pepsi, I'll drink Pepsi. And the day, it's not that I say I did Coke or nothing. No. When you're an associate, they say I want Boca or nothing. When you're an associate of LVE, it says I want LVE or nothing. When one loses that passion, he loses everything. He loses everything he loses, even the essence of soccer. One other thing, just to take into account of what an anonymous associate, the club of the associates, they keep up many sport disciplines. They have all types of sports for men and women, for children, schools, primary schools, secondary schools. All of that is what Boca has. That is what the clubs have. Also the great ones like River and all the rest. They have football academies that they help and they feed the children. A whole bunch of things that it helps the neighborhood. Precious helps for the neighborhood. They try to get the children out of drugs, out of the streets, and they bring them to play. In the moment in which it becomes sad, and SAD, sad in English is sad, sports, anonymous, sports societies, when that happens, there's no more money that helps the neighborhood. They're saying, if I'm giving soccer to the women, well, how much am I spending? Oh no, they're wasting my time. I'll close, shut it down. I'll shut basket, I'll shut this, and I'll shut everything down that doesn't give me money. And it helps the children also shut that down. Soccer disappears. The whole social club disappears. That is why I love the social clubs. If you were to know what a social club, and when I say Argentinian clubs, if you were to know them, how beautiful it is, when you become an associate, you go and you have a whole bunch of things. You have places to eat, you have friends, you get together, you have even gyms, just by paying the fee. And you feel so great. That disappears when it's bought by corporations. And when I talk about Boca, I talk about Boca, River. River has a whole bunch of disciplines. It's almost a city. It is beautiful what River has and what they do for their people. Because even if there are adversaries, they're still admirable. It's not that there are enemies. They're enemies just in the game, in the field, but as a club. I would want for them to be sold. They can buy River. But actually speaking for real, no, it's not that it's better, but of course they're in a neighborhood. Yes, of course, but they do great things for everyone. Yes, of course, obviously. Yes, of course. That is so beautiful. It is so beautiful to belong to an institution to which you are an owner. It's so beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's almost, just so you understand, kind of what can be felt for a country. When you're a citizen, you own the country also. You choose the president. It's not that it has an owner per se. I know that they do whatever they want with us, but just per se. The same thing as a club. Never, listen well, never do we have to make football private now in Argentina between the president and other soccer like Verón from Estudiantes. They want to make it private because they want to destroy it. They want to destroy everything. We have to oppose, and Boca is the giant that helps so that everyone can get together to stop making football private. Privatization should not enter. And Boca is the emblem of this river. Already has given many signs that maybe they would like it. The whole new stadium that they made for them was paid for them by a private that is called El Chango Mas. Just so you understand, it's a market like Walmart. It's a market chain, El Chango Mas. I don't know how many millions of dollars they gave him. I think like 100. I'm not sure. And he made the whole stadium for them. The whole stadium under certain conditions. It's all gray. It already lost the red and white characteristics. All gray. And he changed the name of the stadium. Already it is the Mas Monumental, because Chango Mas is the company's name. It is called Mas Monumental, and that right there is so depressive. Some they say, well, he helped us, we're going to pay for it, he's not an owner of the club. Okay, he's not an owner of the club. But how do they come to say, hey, we're going to change your name? It's like somebody from Arabia says, well, we're going to make a new stadium, but now we're going to call it, I don't know, Alibaba Bombonera. And some camel shows up. You can no longer be blue and now be gray like rivers, so that it's give or take neutral to do all kinds of things of different type of events. It'll be called camel the camel.
Se va a llamar la bombonera del
And the
camello.
bombonera,
Nosotros te pagamos
the
todo,
camel, we'll pay for
pero
everything,
la tenés que
but
tener así
it has
por
to be like
30
this
años.
for 30
Y
years.
yo,
And
si
I,
fuera
if I
miembro
were
activo y
an
miembro
active
de la
member
comisión directiva,
member
diría,
of the
no,
commission, I
métanse
said, no, you can
el
shove
camello y los
that
dólares
camel and the
allá,
dollars
que yo me la banco
up there
con mi
because
socio.
I'll
Por
just
eso, en ese
do it with
punto
my
yo,
associates. In that point, that is why
le
I
hago soporte a Riquelme. Le hago el aguante a
I
Riquelme, por más que
say
hay cosas que no me
I
gustan de
support
Riquelme, le hago el
Riquelme
aguante
even
a
if I don't like
porque Riquelme dice,
Riquelme. I support
el
him
club es de los
because
socios.
says the
Este
club
club no
is
se
owned by
vende,
the
este club es de
associates.
los
We won't
socios.
sell it.
Eso
It
nos
is
da
of the
paz.
associates.
Eso
That gives
nos
us
da paz a
peace.
nosotros.
That gives us peace.
Es como que
It's
yo
kind of
digo,
like
bueno, voy a
if I were to
vender
say,
ahora
well, I'm
que
going
la
to now
laverdadeterna,
sell what the eternal truth
el
is,
nombre y todo,
the
a
name and
otro
everything
trabajo,
to
pastor cualquiera, pero yo
whatever
no
pastor out there because I'm
no le
already
gustaría a nadie, eso no
going to
queda
retire.
bien.
Nobody would like it. Nobody
No
would
queda
say,
claro.
yes,
Lo
of course.
vendemos al señor Gambetta.
We'll sell it to
Por
Mr.
favor.
Gambetta or
No
Bohr.
queda nadie.
No one would be left.
Eso es lo que pasa
That right
cuando
there
vendemos.
is what happens when they sell a club.
Y la otra cosa es que Boca
Something
tiene un
else
equipo
is that
muy
Boca
bueno,
has a very good
Mañana
team, by the
jugamos de
way.
vuelta,
Tomorrow we'll
pero
play again,
compramos a
but
7
we
jugadores.
bought 7
Siete.
players. 7.
7 jugadores
7
compramos.
players we
Y
bought.
están bastante
And they are pretty
buenas las compras. Los tengo que ver
good
jugar
buys.
más.
I have to watch them
Mañana
play.
jugamos,
Tomorrow we
Pero
play.
creo que
But I
vamos a
think
andar bien.
that we're
Tengo
going to
mucha
do
esperanza
well.
de
I
que
have
vamos a andar
much
bien,
hopes that we're
mucha
going to do
esperanza.
well. Have much hope.
Gastó Boca 25
Boca
millones de
played,
dólares.
paid $25 million
Pero también
for them.
metimos buenos
But we also sold good players also for
Otra
lots
cosa
of money.
que
Something else that I would
Riquelme
like
haga
for
es
Riquelme
mejorar
to
el
do
estadio.
is to make the stadium
Ustedes
bigger.
saben que si Boca tuviera un
Did you
estadio
know
para
that if
100.000
Boca
personas,
had
lo llena
a
cada
stadium for
domingo, o cada
100
vez que
million
juega? Lo llena.
people, they would fill it every Sunday. Every Sunday it would be
No es la
filled.
capacidad, es que
It's not
si
the
hace uno de
capacity. It's like if it
200.000,
makes
lo
one for
llena.
200 million, it'd be
Es
filled.
impresionante.
It's impressive.
Pero eso pasa.
But see, that's what happens.
No hay tan buena
That there's
planificación,
not
pero
so
sí,
much planning.
Juan Román
But yes,
Riquelme,
Juan Roman Riquelme
tiene todo mi apoyo mientras
has all my
siempre él
support
diga,
as long as he says
Boca,
the Club Atlético Boca Juniors is of the
Ese es el problema
associates.
de Brasil,
That is Brazil's
Ese es el
problem.
problema de
That is Brazil's problem.
para que ustedes sepan
Just so you know
qué pasó con el fútbol
what happened
brasileño.
with the Brazilian soccer.
Y bueno, pero
Well,
perdí
anyway,
6-0 en
they
Argentina.
lost 6-0 against Argentina. What are we going to
Ayudar
do?
a la iglesia.
Go cry to the church, the Christian church.
Bien.
Very well.
Pero exacto.
But I mean,
Lo que
exactly.
al Jesús hacia el Cristo Redentor.
Christ Jesus Redeemer, go and cry to him.
Pero lo bueno que no me escucha
But the
ningún
good thing
brasileño.
is that no Brazilian listens to me.
Yo
I
hablo argentinos,
speak to Argentinians
solamente, y
only,
todos los que me escuchan son
and all that
argentinos.
listen to me
Así
are
que, por eso,
Argentinians. So
todos
then,
los que me escuchan se matan de
all who
risa.
listen to me are
Todos los que me
laughing.
escuchan
All
son-
the ones
tengo muchas
listening to me
personas
are
en Brasil
laughing.
que
I
son
have
argentinos.
lots of people in Brazil, but they're Argentinian.
Están viviendo ahí en Brasil,
They're
pero
living
son
there in
argentinos.
Brazil, but they're Argentinians. Every last one of them. They went to live there. Yes, of course, they're all
Se están
Argentinian.
matando de risa que
And they're
ganamos
laughing their
6-0
asses off that we beat
Qué bueno.
6-0
Eso es lo bueno.
Brazil.
Eso-
Well, that's what's great,
algo.
to belong
Está
to
sobre
something
todo,
that is
La
above
verdad
all.
está sobre todo.
The
La
eternal truth
verdad
is
eterna
above
de
all.
los
The eternal truth is of the
que
associates
colaboran. ¿Cómo están
that
las
collaborate. How are the
cosas? Si no
fees?
pagan la cuota, van a
If
perder
they
la
don't pay the fee,
membresía.
you're going
Que
to
digan,
lose your
"Sí,
membership.
Yo escuché
Said,
siempre
oh, I was
tu
always
membresía,
listening.
tu
And what
número".
about your membership?
No,
Your
no
number?
tuve,
No, I didn't have it.
podía. Oh,
I
¿verdad que
couldn't.
cuando uno
Oh,
ama
you know,
a un
when
club,
you
deja de
love a
comer,
club,
pero
you
paga tu
stop eating,
membresía,
but you pay for your
paga tu
membership.
membresía.
You pay for your
¿Cómo
membership.
está tu membresía?
How is your membership? Very well.
Vamos a ver si hay likes.
Let's see if there's any likes.
Vamos a ver si hay
Let's see if there's any likes.
Low.
They're low.
¿Cuántos likes hay?
How many likes do we have?
245 likes.
245 likes. I cannot ask you for
Porque
likes
hicieron- hay
because
más de los que
there are
están mirando.
more
O se
than
fueron
those that are
muchos.
watching, or either many left.
Hay 239
Or we have
mirando.
239
De los
watching.
239, si alguno
And
se
out of the
olvidó,
239, if
pedimos, por favor,
anyone forgot, then we ask you for your like. Thank you.
como pequeña cuotita.
That's a small little fee, just a small little fee. Small little fee.
Los comentarios también son
The
cuotitas
comments
y
are also
todo
little
lo demás.
fees and all the rest.
Bien.
Very well.
Para que ustedes entiendan
Just so you
de
understand
dónde nace la pasión.
where the
La
passion is
pasión, ¿de dónde
born, the
nace?
passion where it's born.
Bien, entonces
Very well.
Malaquías 2:17
So then Malachi 2:17,
habéis
we were
hecho
led,
cansar a
ye
Yahweh
have
con
wearied
vuestras
Yahweh
palabras,
with your
y decís,
words,
¿en
and
qué
you
le
say,
hemos
in what have we
cansado?
wearied him?
En que decís cualquiera
And
que
that
te
you say that
malagrada a
whomever
Yahweh,
doeth evil
y en los
pleaseth
tales se
Yahweh, and in
complace.
such he delighteth.
o si no,
Or else,
¿dónde está el
where
Elohim
is the
de
Elohim of
justicia?
justice?
Cualquiera que hace mal
Anyone that
agrada a
doth
Yahweh,
evil
y
pleaseth
en los
Yahweh,
tales
and
se
in such he
complace.
delighteth.
¿Saben ustedes
Did you know
que jamás el pueblo de Israel dijo
that the
esto?
people of Israel never said these words?
Nunca el pueblo se levantó
Never
para
did the
decir,
people rise up and say,
¿Sabes qué?
Did you know what?
Malaquías,
Malachi,
decirle a Yahweh
tell Yahweh
que Yahweh
that
se
Yahweh
complace en los que hacen el
pleases
mal.
in those that do evil.
Que cualquiera que hace mal
And that
agrada
whomever
a
that
Yahweh.
doth evil pleaseth Yahweh. Tell Yahweh that.
No, esto es
No,
ficticio.
this is fictitious.
Esto es totalmente
This is
ficticio.
completely fictitious.
Jamás el pueblo de Israel
Never the
iba a
people of
decir,
Israel would go and
ni se
say,
iba a
not even
imaginar eso.
imagine that.
Esto
This
no
is
es
non-existent.
existente.
And why is it
¿Por qué está
written?
escrito?
Because it's written for us.
Nosotros. Porque
Because
está
it is
escrito
written
para
so
que
that
el que pueda pasar
he
la
that can
cobertura de la
pass the
escritura
cover
lo
of the
entienda.
scriptures can understand it.
¿Quién
Who
es
is
el
the
único
only group
grupo
out
de
of
toda la
all
historia
history that
que
says
dice semejantes
such
palabras?
words?
Pues
Because
son
they
palabras
are strong
fuertes.
words.
Cualquiera
Whomever
que
that doth
hace mal
evil pleaseth
agrada
Yahweh.
a Yahweh. ¿Alguna
Have
vez
you
la
ever
escuchó
heard it
ustedes
ever
la
in the
iglesia
church
donde
that
iba
you used to
antes?
go to?
Que el
The pastor
se
would
levante
rise
y
up and
diga,
say, Dear
"Queridos
brethren,
hermanos, si es una
if it's a
misa,
mass,
si
it's a
es misa,
mass.
si
If
es
it's a
un sábado,
Sabbath,
es un sábado.
it's a
Queridos
Sabbath.
hermanos, les quiero
I want to
comunicar
let you
que
know that
cualquiera que
whomever
hace
does
mal
death evil
o
or
haciendo el
doing
mal,
evil, we
agradamos
please
a
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
mind you.
Quiero
I want
que
you to
sepan
know that.
eso. Así que
So then
nosotros
we
vamos a
will
seguir
continue
haciendo
to
el
do
bien, pero
good,
haciendo el bien
but we
desagradamos a
displease
Yahweh.
Yahweh by doing
Porque
good,
para
because in order
agradar
to
a Yahweh hay
please
que hacer el
Yahweh,
mal.
we have to do evil. You
Nunca
never
lo
heard
escuchó
that
eso en
in
su
ever in
vida.
your life?
Porque
Because
nunca
no one
nadie
ever
pronunció
said this
esto,
except
excepto
by
escrito en Malaquías.
written in Malachi.
¿Quién osó
Who
decir
dared to
eso?
say that? Well,
El
the only
único
club
de
of the
nosotros
associates
osó
that
decir
dare to
eso
say
es
that is
LVE.
LVE.
No solamente
Not
osó
just dare to say
decirlo,
it, but
sino
rather
que lo dice de
really
verdad.
says it.
Lo
Really
dice de
says it.
verdad.
We
Nosotros se
say
lo
it
decimos
to
en la
his
cara.
face. Yahweh,
deja de
stop
bendecir a
blessing
los
the
malos.
wicked. Yahweh,
tú
you
fuiste el que
were
le diste
the one
poder
that
a la
gave power to the
bestia.
beast.
Tú eres el
You are the
dragón. Tú
dragon.
eres el
You are the
padre de
father of
Israel,
Israel,
el
the
padre
father
de la
of
mentira.
lies.
Tú eres
You
el
are
asesino
the
desde
assassin
el
from
mismo
the very
principio.
beginning.
Tú
You
eres
are
todo
all that.
eso. Y
And to
encima
top it off,
bendices a los
you
buenos.
bless
Tú eres el único grupo que hace
the
todo
wicked.
eso. No solo
What's the only group that does that? Only one.
bendice a los
You
malos, perdón.
bless the wicked.
Tú bendices
You
a
bless
los
the wicked.
malos. A los que están
Those
en el
that are
poder,
in power,
le
you
das
give them
más
even more
poder.
power.
A
The
los
rich,
ricos,
you give
le
them
das
more
más
riches.
riqueza. A los
The
injustos,
unrighteous,
le
you
das
give them
más
more
vida
life
para
to
que
be
sean
more
más
unrighteous.
injustos. Cualquiera
Whomever
que
that
hace
doth
mal,
evil
agrada a
pleaseth
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Y
and
en
in
los
such
tales
he
se
delighteth.
complace.
Notice
Tienen que
they
decir
have
que
to
en
say,
los
and in
tales se
such he
complace.
delighteth. It's a very
Dura esa
harsh
frase.
phrase.
Encima
To
tiene
top it off, he has pleasure
placer en lo
when
que
he,
hacen el
those
mal.
that do evil.
Complace
To
es que
be
tiene
pleased
un
is that he has an
orgasmo,
orgasm.
El
The
orgasmo
orgasm
de
of Yahweh
es en lo que
is in
hacen
those
el
that
mal.
do
Y saben,
evil.
chicos,
Is this all
dice,
good? Oh, wow.
¿cómo
How he
gozo con ustedes?
really
¿Con quién?
enjoys it.
Estamos arrodilladitos.
Those that kneel down, no, not with you. I
Gozo
have pleasure
con
with
los
those
que
that do
hacen el mal.
evil.
Dice,
This,
este inició la guerra
this
y
that
mató
started the war,
¿cuántos
killed how
millones?
many millions?
Wow,
Oh, yeah,
brutal,
wow.
qué
How great, how
bien,
great.
qué bien.
Newsom
me quemó
burnt
todo
off California.
Qué
Oh, how
bien,
great.
te
How
voy a
great. I'm going to
bendecir
bless you even
más.
more.
Sí, qué
How great.
bien. ¿Qué
What did
hizo
Trump do? Oh,
Trump
Trump, he
trajo,
brought
la pan demonio
the
y
demon
también trajo
pan and also
la cuna de las ¡Qué
the vacuum
bien!
cleaners. Oh, how great.
Vamos a elegirlo de
Let's
vuelta,
choose him
presidente.
again as a president.
Porque
Because
él trae
he
esas
brings
cosas y
those
después
things
trae la
and then
solución
the
también.
solution.
Qué bien,
How
qué
great,
bien.
how great.
Vamos, vamos,
Bravo.
vamos,
Let's go,
te quiero
Trump.
como
I
presidente.
want you as a
Vas
president
porque yo soy
because I am your God, that I'm pleased in you. Who's the only one that dares to say that? We, no one else, not the rest. No, not the rest, absolutely not. And also we say, where is the Elohim of justice? By saying, Yahweh, you are not an Elohim of justice. We want an Elohim of justice that is righteous, but the people that read this, they don't even understand it. They tell Yahweh, you are pleased in evil. Now we want an Elohim that is just, something that you are not, that you have not demonstrated to be. Wow. The only one that understands this, the only one that fulfills this, the only one that repeats this, the only one that actually is the one that cries this out, are we. And that is where precisely all the answer from Yahweh comes. That says, okay, you've already noticed. Here comes the covenant of the angel of the covenant. It's the one that prepares the Elohim of justice. He is the one that makes the Elohim of justice. It's the one that makes it. It is very clear. Spectacular. What else could I say? Here it is, the Elohim of justice. The eternal truth is the Elohim of justice. And the text of the invitation of today, we continue always in the same theme of what I've just said. The fiery wrath of Yahweh will not be appeased. I could say the injustice of Yahweh shall not be appeased. To bless the wicked will not be appeased. It will not stop. He will not stop pleasing the wicked until he has done and fulfilled the purposes of his own heart. In other words, the purposes of creation. I understand by this clearly that the plan of Yahweh is to do of this world an experience so that you understand well what injustice and wickedness is, pain and death, clearly. Because here the thing is, I'm going to say something that maybe it's difficult, mind you, to understand or to accept. The experience of life of man is not to learn, but to experience. To experience, not by him experiencing, but experiencing what life gives you, which is pain, injustice, wrath, which is anger, and death. It doesn't matter how much you have learned to be good, or you did learn to be good. In other words, I want to repeat my words so that, not so that you accept them, but you understand what I'm saying. The time of the time lapse that Yahweh designed in this game, from the first to the last, is so that they experience what all of us have experienced, which are pleasure, pain, injustices, hate, anger, and it's not this lifetime lapse to learn anything. That's good. It isn't. In other words, if you thought that Yahweh gives us this lifetime lapse to experience bad things, and that in this lifetime lapse we learn to hold on to what's good and to choose what is good and to learn to be good, you're wrong. Just like that, you're wrong completely. That is not the idea of this creation. The idea of this creation in this game is that all experience evil, whether they play as long as they can with evil, they get burned and it hurts and they die. And they don't learn shit of anything except to experience injustice, stealing, lies, deceit, and all types of wickedness. You have to feel it, that they do it to you, and to do it to you every time that you do bad things. And it's not that you have in this time last to repent, to ask to be forgiven, which is good that you do, but it's not the function of it. Because no one achieves to come out good from this earth. They all have to come out, according to the Christians, trusting in someone else's justice, because in your justice you have not been able to obtain it here. So then, the idea is not that you become perfect. The idea is that you experience. Because the time of the life lapse is 70, 80, some even less. But you have lived it, you've felt it. When will you learn? When the Messiah resurrects you. That is when you will learn. That is when you will learn. But you cannot learn anything if you have not first lived in a terrorific state like this. So then whatever happens to you in life and death, we have lots of value, and it is so, which happens to me, but we have life in high value because we don't know what is afterlife. We do not see the dead anymore, so then of course we hold on to life, and when someone does, it affects us a lot because we place what life is in this life in a high esteem. It's as if we were playing a game and we have our pieces that the game gives us, and well, life is almost everything life is. And as it turns out, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. If we were to comprehend, which is very difficult, I speak to you, it is difficult. If we were to comprehend that life and death is part of the game, and that we should not worry. Yeah, because your son died, you didn't experience it. Oh, I understand pain. But if we could mentalize that death is nothing, because it is as if going out and for the coach to take you out of the game. If we were to understand that actually it's not actual death like we think it is, but actually it is, you were taken out of the game, but you'll come back to the game later. If we were to think, like in a chess game, when they take one of your pieces, it goes outside. It's not that we play. Well, we do cry because we lost it, but we have to get back up because or else we lose the game even more. Because the pieces are no longer in the game. They're not alive. The piece is dead, but it exists. And it'll come back in the next game or not. It's not that we make the piece and we make it, you break it into pieces and never again be a that is how we think in life. Somebody dies, and we're never going to see them again. No, it isn't so. It's just that in the game, they took that piece, but it exists, and it'll come back. What I'm saying is something impossible. I know it's an impossible thing, but if we were to, in some measure, to implement something of what I tell you, it would be a lot easier for us to cope with loss. Because we would say, okay, that's fine. If they left, they left. Let's suppose, oh, something got in my eye. I see something kind of like something. If they left, they left. Let's suppose that, I don't know, a brother that I have that I loved a lot died. And of course, for me, it's the worst thing. But if I were to think, well, okay, he lived already, he lived that, and he left. And I take him out of my mind, and I say, consciously, to take him to my conscious, he left. That's it. I don't have to worry anymore. I have to worry about how long I'll last. You might say, but what? How cold are you without any feeling? That is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. No. I am teaching to heal quickly. I'm not saying that it won't hurt, but you have to heal. You have to heal the loss of a son or daughter. The people are affected for life. You have to heal soon. For yourself. And because you know the game. I know it is difficult what I'm saying. I know. But if you were to implement it, we could reduce many conflicts. If your mother dies and you're still crying for her, no, just bury her quickly. They'll tell you the sooner you bury her, that's it. And then you get back up later. Don't worry about the piece. Take her out. That's what she had to live through. That's it. It's over. Now I play until I have to be taken out of the game. That's it. It's over. If we were to think that way a little bit more, then you're going to say you're so cold. No, it's not being cold. It's understanding the game. It's not placing so many pieces in the value of the people. Just put a little piece, not a huge amount of pieces. Just a little piece. They're like, oh, this guy has no soul. No, it's not that I don't have a soul. Precisely, I'm trying to understand the rules of the game. Going back to this point. This life, we experience it only to experience theft, pain, and all the things that this life gives us. For what reason? Because or else if we were to have been born in a world that's perfect, how do we experience theft and what we feel if they steal from us? How do we experience the loss of life? How could you explain that to a person that has never seen anyone die, that has never suffered the loss, not even of a little dog? What is the pain of losing it? How could you explain it to them? You could not explain it. You have to live it.
se te tiene que morir una mascota
A
que buscas.
pet that you love has to die, and you feel
Que no se te
something
puede explicar,
that
lo
cannot be
sentís vos
explained.
solo.
You feel it
Es un
alone.
dolor,
It is
una
a pain
opresión
and
en el
oppression
pecho,
in your heart.
llorar,
You cry,
y después
and
sanar.
then later you
Es
heal.
toda una
It's all
experiencia,
an
no es un
experience.
paquete
It's not just a
solamente de dolor,
package
no.
of pain.
Es
No,
dolor,
it's
es
pain.
una
It
transición,
is a
es
transition.
sanar,
It is to
y
heal,
después
and then afterwards to
recordar
remember
que te puede traer
that it
melancolía,
could bring you
te puede
melancholy
traer
and it
alegría,
could bring you
recordás
joy to
a tus
remember
mascotas
your
o
pet
a tus seres
or your
queridos.
loved ones.
Pero todo ese
But all
proceso
that
de dolor
process
brutal,
of brutal pain,
agonía
agony,
mental
mental
en
agony
el alma,
in the soul,
y ir poquito sanando y
and to
saliendo
be
adelante,
healing
es una
little by little
experiencia que
to
no se
move
puede pagar
on,
como la
it
pasión.
cannot be paid like passion.
No se puede
You
pagar.
cannot pay it.
Entonces, si
So
vos
then,
tenés un
if
ser
you have a
perfecto,
perfect
como
being,
dijo
like
Elena White,
Ellen
que
G. White said
una vez su
that one
ángel,
time her angel,
compañía,
her company,
ella se
accompanying
montaba
angel,
arriba del ángel y la
and she would
llevaba,
ride the
fue a un
angel.
planeta, dice,
It went to a
y vio
planet,
gente
and she says that she saw perfect people.
todas perfectas,
All
de
perfect
4
people.
metros de altura, imagínate.
They were 4 meters tall. Imagine how stupid that is. Anyway, moving on with that science fiction that she told.
Se puso a hablar con
So then
ellos.
she started
Dice,
to talk to
"¿Por
them and
qué son
says,
tan
hey, why are you
perfectos,
so
tan
perfect, so
hermosos
beautiful,
todos?
all of you?
Tan
So
buenos?"
good.
Dice, "Y porque
They said,
nosotros,
well,
ves el
because
árbol
we,
ese
you see that
de
tree
la ciencia del bien
of
y del
science
mal,
of good and
nosotros
evil?
nunca
We
comimos
never
ese
ate
árbol."
from there.
Eso está en una de
That
sus
is
novelas,
one of her
digo, de sus
novels.
libros.
I mean, one of her
Entonces
books.
dice, nosotros nunca
So
comimos
then
de ese
says,
libro.
we never ate from
Nosotros
that
fuimos
book.
obedientes, no como
From
ustedes.
that. We were obedient, not like you.
Wow,
She said,
qué
oh, wow, how
hermoso este
beautiful
lugar. Yo me
this
quiero
place. I
quedar
want to
acá en
stay
este
here in
lugar.
this
Y
place.
le dijeron,
They
no,
said,
tu
no,
ángel,
your angel
el montador le dice, no,
that you ride, no.
te tengo que llevar
I
a
have to
Elenita de vuelta allá.
take you back,
Dice, mientras me
little
llevaba
Helen.
otra vez al mundo,
And as long as he
veía
took me
que
back to
trabajaba
that
el
world,
mundo,
and
se
she was
puso
coming down to
todo
earth,
tinieblas,
everything became
oscuridad, y allá era
darkness,
todo
and
luz.
over there was all
Qué
light.
bonito
How
era
beautiful
allá.
it was
Qué
over there.
hermoso era allá.
How beautiful
Ok,
it was over there. Okay,
vamos a suponer que es
let's
verdad
suppose
lo
that
que
it's
ella
true
vio,
what
que
she
no es
saw.
verdad, pero
It's
vamos a
not
suponer,
true, but let's suppose.
meternos en este
Let's get
fantasía.
into this fantasy.
En ese país
In that
o ese
country
mundo
or that
que
world
nunca habían
that
experimentado nada,
had never experienced
todos
anything,
bonitos
and they
y
were all
perfectos.
beautiful and perfect,
¿qué pasaría si uno
what
se
would happen
moría?
if one would die?
O cómo
Or
ellos
how
pueden
can
entender
they
lo que es la
understand
muerte?
what death is?
No podrían
They could
entender.
not understand.
No podrían
They
entender.
could not understand.
Entonces no son
So then they're not
perfectos,
perfect.
son una manga de
They're a
idiotas.
bunch of idiots.
Son
They're
estúpidos.
stupid idiots.
Si a uno de esos
If
lo
one of
largas en
them,
cualquier capital
you
del
would
mundo,
put him
vamos a
in
decir,
any
que
capital of the
4 metros,
world.
imagínate.
I mean,
Lo
forget it.
reducís
You would have
y
to
va
make him
así,
shorter.
que es bondadoso
And
en su
he's
corazón.
so kind in his heart.
No piensa jamás que
He
lo van a
never thinks
engañar
that they're going to
nunca.
deceive him ever.
¿Cuánto duraría
How
en una
long would he
capital
last
del
in
mundo?
any capital of the world?
Nada.
Nothing.
Así nada.
Just like that. You
El otro
eat
día
him
yo no la
alive.
vi, pero,
I haven't seen this,
Leslie la
but
vio
Leslie saw
porque
this
ustedes también la
because you
vieron,
also saw it
en un mundo de fantasía.
in a world of
¿Cómo se
fantasies.
llama la película?
What's the movie called?
La invención de la mentira. O
The
del engaño.
invention of lies.
La invención
The
de la
invention
mentira o
of
del
lies
engaño
or
en
deceit.
un mundo
In a world
nadie mentía.
that nobody would lie,
Nadie
no one
mentía.
would lie.
Entonces,
And so then,
todo el mundo decía la
everyone
verdad.
would say the
Aunque
truth,
sea la más
even if it's
fea de
the
todas las
nastiest
ver-
of
de todas
all
las
the
verdades.
truths.
Si ves un,
If
alguien
you
feo,
see
decís
something
que
ugly, you
sí.
say,
¿Cómo
oh,
luzco? Muy
what do I
feo,
look? Very
muy
ugly,
feo.
very ugly.
Porque
Because
la verdad
The
es relativa en todos los aspectos. Pero
truth
no-
is relative in every aspect, but I'm not going to get into that. It'll be too difficult for you.
Entonces
So
no
then,
mentía nadie ahí.
no one would lie there.
Y cuando uno se
And
sentía
when
mal, siempre decía que
somebody
se
would
sentía
feel
mal.
ill,
Cuando
they
uno
would
era
always
perdedor,
feel
decía,
that they
"Vos
felt
sos
when you're a
perdedor,
loser, you say
vos
you're a
sos
loser,
ganador,
you're a
vos sos
winner, you're a
perdedor,
loser,
vos sos
you're a
ganador", y
winner, blah, 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 blah.
Si eras medio gordito,
If
te
you're
van a
kind of
decir,
fat,
"Vos
they'll
sos
say
un gordo
you're
perdedor".
such a loser,
Si sos
fatty.
feo, te van a decir,
If
"Sos
you're
feo".
ugly, they're going to say you're
Sos
ugly,
feo.
you're ugly.
Había una chica
There was a
que quería
girl
tener
that
hijos,
wanted to
pero
have
quería que
children,
sus
but she
hijos
wanted her
salgan
children to be
inteligentes y
intelligent and
lindos.
beautiful.
Y justamente
And
se
precisely,
fijó en uno, o
she
tuvo una
liked some
cita
guy
con
or
uno que
had a
era
date
gordo
with
y
some guy that was
feo.
fat and
Y le
ugly,
dijo en la cara,
and
"Yo
she
quiero a
told
mis
them
hijos", y
to the
se hizo
face.
amiga de él y todo,
And
pero
they became friends and
te la
all.
cuento más o menos. y se
I
me-
just tell it to you
invento
kind of
parte,
like that.
¿no?
Oh, I'll just make some parts.
Era gordo y feo y
It was
después se
ugly
hicieron
and
amigos,
fat,
y yo
they
que
became
sí,
friends
y
like
dice,
that.
"Yo te
And this is,
quiero, vos,
I
vos
like
sos
you,
gordo y feo,
but you're
yo
fat
quiero
and
que mis
ugly,
hijos
and I
sean
want my children
lindos
to be beautiful
y ganadores".
and winners.
Dice, "Tu
It says
genética
in your
no la
genes,
quiero
I
en
don't
mis
want it
hijos".
in my children.
Entonces era todo muy
So then it
crudo.
was all very
Era
crude
la
like
verdad
that. It was
absoluta,
the absolute
cruda y
truth,
desnuda.
crude and raw.
Qué horrible,
How horrible a world like that.
cantaría la canción
there
de
they
Luis
would
Miguel,
sing
Miénteme.
the Luis Miguel song, Miénteme, like lie to me.
Como siempre.
Lie to me
Por
like
favor,
always.
miénteme.
Please lie to me.
Así, está perfecto.
Just like that, it's
Miénteme.
perfect. Lie to me,
Miénteme,
lie to
pero
me.
no venga con tus
But don't
verdades que
tell me
van a
the truth
arruinar
that
el
are
día.
going to ruin my
Miénteme,
day. Lie to me,
miénteme.
lie to me.
Pero yo 1000 veces
But
prefiero que me
I
mientan
rather
a
would
que me
have preferred
arruinen
lie to
el
me than
día.
to ruin my day.
En pendejadas.
In
Yo
stupid
sé
shit,
que
I don't know, whatever.
pues es muy
So it's
pervertible,
very
la verdad, que en ese
lies
caso,
and truth. In that case,
es un terreno
it
muy
is a
especial.
terrain that's
Ok.
very special. Okay,
Entonces,
so then
llega al banco el tipo
the guy gets to the bank
que lo habían sacado de su casa.
because they
El tipo le
kicked him
dijo, "Ya
out.
no puedes
And
pagar la
he says, you
renta,
can't
lo
pay
que
for the
sea".
rent or
El
whatever.
otro,
The other
claro,
guy, of course,
como no
since
era escritor y
he was a
su
writer
escritura era
and his writings
malísima,
were
porque
so
si
bad.
vos vas a escribir
So
una
if you were going to
novela,
write a
todo
novel
verdad,
that everything's the truth, it's actually
tenés que
horrible.
inventarte
You have
todo
to
como la
make
Biblia,
up
por eso
all
está
kinds of
mal,
things like the
de
Bible.
aquello.
That's
Entonces,
why they didn't even mention that one.
entonces,
So then
el tipo
the
lo echan del
guy, they
trabajo,
kick
lo
him
echan de la
out,
casa,
they
va al
kick him
banco
from the
y
house,
tiene
goes to the bank, he has
$400
$400.
y justo se corta
As
la
it
luz
turns
y
out,
le
he
dice,
has
no
no
sé
more
cuánto
light,
tiene, cuánto
electricity.
tiene,
This is how long do you have?
y vuelve la luz.
The light
¿Cuánto
comes
tiene?
back, how
Y el
much
tipo
do you
dice,
have? And the guy says
y de
400.
golpe,
And all of
de
a
la
sudden,
nada,
out of
porque algo
the
pasó
blue,
en
because
su
something
mente,
happened in his mind,
cortocircuito,
short
dice
circuit, he says
800.
800.
Y la tipa dice,
And the guy says,
usted
oh,
tiene
okay, you
800,
have
no,
800.
800.
We'll
Y
give you
justo viene la
800.
luz
And
y
the light
dice,
comes
no,
back.
espere, acá
So
dice
hold on, it says you have
400 nomás.
400.
El
And the guy,
tipo ahí
the
la
guy
mira y le
there
dice,
looks
"Te
at her
dije
and said,
que tengo 800".
I told you I have
Pero como
800.
nadie miente,
But since no one lies,
entonces la tipa dice,
and the
esto
girl
debe
says,
estar mal,
okay,
déjeme
this
que
is
lo
wrong.
arregle.
Let me fix it.
Le arreglo.
Let me
Así
fix
le
it.
puede haber dicho $1.000.000. Pero es
She
que está mal.
could have said,
el
yeah,
sistema
$1 billion.
arregla. Dijo
It's wrong.
800,
You
el
said
sistema
800.
está mal,
The
usted
system
tiene
is wrong. You have 800.
Entonces le paga los
So then
800.
pays the
Después dice,
800, and the guy says, what happened here?
imagínense en el mundo
Just
de que
imagine
habla de
in
Elena
the world
White,
that Ellen G.
¿qué
White
pasó
is
acá?
talking about. What happened
Y
here?
después va
And
con un
then later
amigo
goes with a
tomado
friend,
al
drunk,
alcohol, lo para la policía
and the
y
police
dice,
stops
"Usted
him
está
and says,
borracho".
you're
Le hacen
drinking.
la prueba, está borracho.
The testament
Y
says
de
you're
golpe el
drunk. And all of a
el
sudden,
tipo le
the
dice,
guy says,
hablando por el amigo,
speaking
que
for
se
the
iba,
friend,
se va
that they were
preso
going to
porque
take him
estaba
a
borracho,
prisoner
y
because he
porque
was
le habían hecho la
drunk and
prueba
they
y todo,
had
estaba
done the test. He
borracho,
was
le
drunk.
dice, "Mi amigo
They
no
said,
está
my friend
borracho,
is
no
not
tomó".
drunk. He didn't drink.
El policía le dice,
The
"¿No está
cop says he's
borracho?".
not drunk.
No, no está
No, he's
borracho
not
y no
drunk,
tomó
and he
alcohol.
didn't drink alcohol.
Entonces el policía dice,
And then the police says, oh, forgive me.
perdóneme,
Oh, forgive me.
hice las cosas mal.
I made a mistake. You can go on. Just go
Y
on.
lo deja liberado. Y el
Let
tipo
him go
dice,
free. And the guy says,
"Pará,
no,
puede
hold
ser
on.
tan
It can't be.
estúpido
They
esto".
can be such idiots.
Bueno, esas son las
Well, that's what
personas
happens to the
que no
people
han vivido en
that
esta
have not
tierra.
lived on this earth.
Son estúpidos.
They're idiots.
Todos estúpidos.
Every last one of them. They're
Todos
idiots.
tarados.
They're all retarded
Inservibles.
that are
Entonces,
no good.
¿cuál es
So then what is
el motivo de haber
the
vivido
motive
acá?
of have lived
De que
here?
no te hagan el cuento.
That they don't make you
Porque
stupid.
lo
They
último
don't
que- o lo-
deceive
lo
you.
último-
Because the last thing,
lo primero que van a decir
the first thing that they'll
cuando
say
resuciten,
when
y
you're
te cuenten,
resurrected and they tell you
"Wow,
that she says,
¿cómo
wow,
nos hicieron
how did they
volver? Solo
lie to
mentira
us?
fue la herencia
Only
de
lies
nuestros
was the
padres".
inheritance of our fathers.
Solo mentira fue la
Only
herencia
lies
de
was the
nuestros
inheritance of our
padres.
fathers.
¿Cuál es?
So then what
¿Cuál
is?
es?
What is?
Es-
They should
Exacto.
watch that movie because you can't live in an
Todo
all
es relativo.
truth or an all lie world. It's all relative. It's all
Horrible.
relative, yes.
Pero ¿cómo se
It'd be
llama?
horrible. What's the name of the movie?
Ah, ok, ok. está
I put the link on there in the chat. Okay, great. Once
Por
they
todas
watch
las
it, they'll
razones que
understand
dio
it
Leslie,
for all the reasons
para
that
que vean que
Leslie
no se puede
gave,
vivir
that
en
you
un mundo
cannot
solo
live
de
in a
verdad.
world that's all truth,
Ni solo de mentira,
nor all
ni ser
lies,
inocente.
nor to be innocent.
No podemos ser
We
inocentes.
cannot be innocent.
Entonces tenemos
So then
que,
we
para
have,
ser Dios,
in order to be God,
exacto.
exactly,
Exactamente.
exactly.
Y ahí es cuando la
And
mentira
that
o
is
la
when
verdad
lies or
se
truth
fusionan
is fused
en
together
algo positivo.
into something positive.
¿En qué?
Into what?
La mentira
The
se puede
lies
utilizar
can be
siempre y
used
cuando
as long
sea para
as it is for the
beneficio
benefit
del otro.
of the other. This movie, he used a lie in order for his mother to die happily. Exactly.
Exacto. Beneficio
The
del
benefit
otro.
of the other. But he did not use a lie in order to earn the love of the girl he liked.
Ese es
That
el
is the
punto.
point. That is the
La
point. That a
mentira
lie
puede
can
ser
be
mucho
a
mejor
lot
que la
better than
verdad
lies,
en ciertos
a lot better than the
casos,
truth in certain
si va a
cases
beneficiar
if
a
it'll
alguien.
benefit the other.
El
Let's say
sacerdote de
the
bata
priest
blanca
of the
te
white
diga
robe
que,
tells you
vas a
that
morir.
you're gonna die,
Y por ahí
and
vos
maybe
lo ves
you
y
look at him and say,
corresponde.
"Oh yeah,
Pero
he's right." But all of a sudden said, no, this is easy to get over and blah, blah, blah. And if you're believable and you have power in your word, if you believe it and you gain for your voice and your being to be believable, it has an effect in the mind that maybe, I don't even, just like that, you take it out, this is nothing. How many times have I seen that people like you get better if it happened to me also? Don't listen to that priest, idiot, he doesn't know anything. And if the person believes you, it is probable that, yes, of course, but you're lying to them. It never happened to you. You never see that they got better, but you lied to them anyway. And they're completely lying to you. That lie is better than the truth. The lie of a person that in the movie, right, his mom was suffering because he didn't know where he would go, didn't know anything. She was very, very sad because she was going to die. They said she was going to die. Then he went and said, no, if I speak with God, look, I speak with the guy above. He became a prophet more than anything. There are many things in that movie. He became a prophet. He made up that he spoke with God and God would speak to him and he told him the whole story. And he made a Bible. Well, see, I didn't even watch it. It's just from what Leslie tells me. I haven't watched it. And the mom, and he started to say, because in that world there was no religion. So then he started to say, I speak with the God of heavens, was it? God of heavens. And he says, and told me he handles life and death. And he is preparing mentions for you, and you're so happy. And of course, he grabbed the attention of the mom and the nurses and the whole hospital. So religion started. No one knew anything what was happening in the afterlife. And this guy started by saying that a Lord of heavens would speak to him. And of course, it's so great. So then, I mean, it's spectacular. That is the way it was, right? You saw the movie, right, Minto? So then, the mom, with those lies, died happy. So then, in that situation, lies are better than the truth. And how can you practice lies in a perfect world where everyone says the truth? It's impossible. So then, I can assure you, even if I complain in a fight against Yahweh and I insult him, just like I insult him, I love him too. Because I know that there's no other way than to make gods, because all humans are gods. He says, I have to experience it. You have to experience it in the clay. You're going to die. Maybe you die being so evil, but it doesn't matter. The thing is that you experience it. Then later, when the Messiah resurrects you, the one that I'll designate for that, he'll say, look, you made a mistake here, but you have all the experience. The whole world, I don't know, and I cannot say what I'm going to say. I don't want to say it, but I'll say it either way. But I don't want to say it. It's difficult for me to understand. There are solutions for this, but it's difficult for me to understand that beings are born in a world that's very perfect, because they're not going to have our experience forever at all. In fact, they can see it at a certain measure here. If we who come from humble homes where we had to struggle and we did it, we were cold, we were hungry, we fought for many things, even fought for our lives so that they wouldn't steal from us, fighting and escaping. If our children are born in a super safe place where there's always food, they don't have to work, where nothing, there's never cold and even less hunger, it's always full, completely all over the place. They have missed out on our experience. And they create worlds like, they think that the world is like that, and the world is not like that. We haven't experienced when a disaster happens or wherever. They're not prepared to do anything, but we are, because we have the experience of having been hungry, cold, having fixed things with whatever. But some children that something breaks and already, oh no, I gotta call an electrician, I gotta call a plumber or somebody that knows. What have they learned to fix? Nothing. We learned to fix with anything, with a wire. How do you do it? We would make something up. We would gather to garbage and make things work. They're like, oh, something broke, we'll throw it away and buy another one in Amazon. When something breaks and they don't have anything, they're going to say they don't have any resources to fix it. They don't have it. They don't have resources here or there. They don't know how. So then, hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy times.
Tiempos fáciles
Easy times
hacen hombres
make
débiles.
weak men.
No hay otra.
There's no other
No
way.
hay de otra.
There's
Y
no other way.
tiempos
And then
fáciles
easy
hacen hombres
times
débiles y
make
hombres
weak men,
débiles
and weak men
hacen tiempos
make
difíciles.
hard times.
Es lo que pasa
That is what
ahora.
happens
Es lo que
now.
ocurre
That is
ahora.
what is
Entonces,
happening now. So
¿en
then,
qué épocas
in
estamos?
what times are we living in?
En la época
In the
de
time,
6,000 años,
in the
tiempo
6,000
difícil,
years to
donde
difficult
hacen
time,
hombres
where they
fuertes.
make strong
Cuando
men.
digo hombres, somos
And when I say
también
men,
mujeres.
I
Entonces,
include
hombres y
women,
mujeres
so that
fuertes,
men and women that are
listos
strong,
para hacer
ready
un tiempo
to
hermoso.
make a beautiful
Ahora,
time.
los que nazcan en ese
Now, those
tiempo
that are born
hermoso,
during that beautiful time,
¿qué hacemos?
what do we do with them?
Porque, claro,
Because,
va
of
a haber
course,
una sociedad
there's going to be a
espectacular.
spectacular
Lo que le digan
society.
no va a ser mentira.
And what we tell them is not going to be a
Los
lie.
gobernantes,
The
que va a ser
rulers,
el Mesías
which will be the
en
Messiah
su plenitud,
in his plenitude, will not be lying to them or making them believe that they live in a spinning world. No. They'll tell them the things the way they are.
Entonces,
So
si
then,
algún día
if
alguien
some
hace una mentira,
day
se la va a creer
somebody
rápidamente.
lies to them, they'll believe it right away.
Obvia,
An
¿eh?
obvious
Se
lie,
la va a
mind you.
creer,
They'll believe
se
it,
la va a comer
they'll
como
eat it
nada.
up quickly.
¿Cómo
So then
hacemos
how
que
do
esas
we do
personas
for
tengan
those
una
people to
experiencia?
have an experience?
Y yo no lo puedo entender
I
en mi
cannot
mente,
understand it in
pero
my
sí puedo
mind,
entender
but I could
de que
understand
agarramos a esas
that we
personas y
grab
las
those people
mandamos
and we send them
a vivir una vida
to
acá,
live a
la
life
que vivimos
here, the
nosotros.
one that we lived in.
Aunque sea simulado,
Even if
pero a
it's
ellos que
a
les-
simulation, but
que
they,
les sea verdad.
for them to be true.
¿Qué pasaría
What
si
would happen
nosotros
if we
nos mandaron para vivir esta
were to
simulación?
send
Esto
this
todo es
simulation? And
No
this is
lo
all
podríamos
simulation.
saber.
We couldn't
No
know.
lo podríamos saber.
We couldn't know.
Nos metemos en un terreno
We'll
muy
get
difícil.
into a very
No lo
difficult
podríamos
terrain.
saber.
We
Si esto
couldn't
es una
know. If
simulación
this is
completa,
simulation
no lo
entirely,
podemos
we
saber.
couldn't know.
Yo creo que no.
I think that we're
Podría
not,
ser.
but it could be.
Ahora, porque yo se la
Because
fabriqué.
I would make it up.
Si hay gente
If
en
there
la
are
nueva
people in the
tierra,
new
mundo
earth,
perfecto,
in a perfect
yo le digo,
world,
"Mira, sí,
I
está
would
muy
tell them,
bien,
look,
pero te
yeah,
voy
it's
a
all
mandar a
beautiful,
un
but I'll
lugar
send you to a
para
place for you
academia,
to
se
learn.
llama.
An
Una
academy,
academia,
it's
una
called
academia.
an academy, yes.
Y lo mando a la
And I send them
academia,
to the
lo
academy.
hago
I make
vivir
them
una
live
experiencia
an
de toda una
experience
vida
of
acá.
an entire life here.
¿Por qué? Para que
Why?
aprenda.
So that he learns.
Y cuando salga de ahí, le
And when
digo,
he
"¿Te
comes from
gustó?"
there, he
Va a
says, did you
decir,
like it? He's going to
"Bueno,
say,
sí, hubo
well,
cosas que
yeah, there were
aprendí-
things I
aprendí
learned.
todo."
All kinds
Yo
of
puedo
things.
decir,
Because I
"Yo
could
aprendí
say,
de
I
todo."
learned all kinds
No
of
quiero
things.
aprender,
I don't want to
yo
learn,
no
well,
voy
not
a
I.
hablar en mi boca porque no es
Not going to
verdad.
be in
Pero la
my
gente
mouth, but it's not true.
no-
But the people
no aprendió a ser justa.
did
¿Cuántas
not learn to be
personas
just.
aprendieron
How
a ser
many
justas y se
people
murieron?
learned to do justice
creo
and
que
died?
si
I
vemos la
think
vida,
that if we look at
muy
life,
pocas.
very little,
Muy pocas no, ninguna.
not very little, none.
Todos se murieron
They
en
all
sus
died in
mentiras,
their
en
lies,
su
in
tercadez,
their
se murieron
stubbornness.
por enfermedades que
They
pudieron
died to
haber
sicknesses
evitado
that they could have
y
avoided.
terminó de matar
and
la religión
The
de bata
religion
blanca.
of the white
no
robe killed them.
comprendieron
They
nada.
did not understand a thing.
Más, lo digo así.
In fact, I'll
Todas
say it like that.
murieron
They all died
mal,
wrong,
injustas.
unrighteously,
ellas,
unjustly,
no mal por la
unfairly,
muerte. Mal por la muerte y siendo
unfair due
injustas.
to death and them
Entonces,
being unfair.
no vinieron
Also,
a aprender.
they didn't
Porque
come
si
to
fuera
learn
por eso,
because if it were because of
estamos
that,
chingados,
we're all
no hay
fucked.
salvación
There's no
alguna.
salvation
El
whatsoever.
Mesías no le
The
importa
Messiah could care
cuánta
less
maldad ejercieron,
how
no
much
le
wickedness
importa
they
qué
exercised. He
aprendieron,
couldn't
pero sí le importa
care
si
what they
tuvieron
learned, but they do care if they had the
Entonces,
experience. So
cuando
then,
con la experiencia
with the
los resucita y le
experience, he
dice,
resurrects them
esto,
and says, you
esto,
did this, and that.
en esto te equivocaste,
And
en
you
esto.
made a mistake here and
Entonces,
there.
la experiencia no te la
So
quita
then, the
nadie.
experience,
¿Quién te
nobody
quita
takes
lo
it from you.
bailado?
Who will
Esa
take
frase
away
que
what
ustedes
you have
la
danced?
tienen, ¿no?
You have that phrase,
Nadie
right?
te puede quitar lo
No one
bailado.
can take away
Y lo
what you have
bailado hay que
danced.
bailarlo. Y en
And
este
what
mundo
has
estamos
been
para
danced
bailarla.
is
Y la
has
bailamos.
to be there to dance, and we
Entonces,
dance here.
volvemos.
So then we go back.
Pagamos mucha
We
plata
pay
por
for
la
a
muerte.
lot of money for death.
Se nos mueren personas que
People
queremos,
die
deberíamos poner
that
la
we
ficha
love,
más chiquita.
and we
Sí,
would
sí,
place
siento mucho
the
el dolor.
smallest
Tengo
piece
que sacarme de la
there.
cabeza porque
And yes, I have a lot of pain because obviously this is an experience only. If we were to think that way coldly, we would get over so many conflicts, but we cannot achieve that. To achieve that, it would seem too cold.
Pero esto es así.
But that's the way it is. So then,
estamos en el texto de la invitación.
we're in the text of the
No se
invitation still.
calmará el ardor de la
The
ira, es la
wrath
experiencia
shall not be a
que
peace, that
tenemos.
is the experience
Hasta
that
que
we
se
have,
haya
until
hecho y cumplido los
it has,
propósitos
the
de su
purposes
corazón.
of his heart
En
have
el
been
fin de los
fulfilled.
días
In the end of
entenderéis
the
esto.
days, you'll
Esto es
understand this
magnífico,
magnificent.
porque estamos bajo la
Because
experiencia
we're
del
under
ardor
the
de la ira
experience
del
of the
diablo,
wrath of
que
Yahweh, which is
justamente para
precisely
aprender
to
el mal.
learn evil.
Tenemos que
We have
practicar
to
el mal. Y
practice
cuando digo
evil. And when I
practicar,
say practice,
que nos hagan el mal,
for them to do
y
evil to
todo el mal
us,
que ya
and all
hicimos,
the evil
porque
that we have done.
me puede decir, yo
Because you
nunca
can't tell me,
hice
I've
mal
never
en
done
mi
any
vida.
evil in my life.
Viceversa, ese no,
I mean,
otro.
don't lie to me.
Sí, has
Lie to
hecho
someone
mal,
else. You have
has
done
hecho
evil.
cosas malas, te has
You have
sentido
done
mal.
bad things. You
Por
have
ahí te has
felt bad.
sentido hasta bien por
Maybe you
hacer
felt
mal,
good because
pero
you've done
después,
evil, but then
a la
later,
larga decís, sí, no,
at
la
the end of
verdad
it,
no
you said,
hice
yeah,
bien.
that's right. I didn't do that right.
Esa experiencia
That
es
experience is
impagable.
something that cannot be
Que te
paid
hayan hecho
for.
mal es
That they did
impagable.
evil to
que
you,
hayas hecho
it
mal
cannot be
es
paid for. That
impagable.
you did
Que
evil
hayas
cannot be paid
sentido
for.
dolor es
That you felt pain
impagable.
cannot be
Que te
paid
hayan
for.
mentido
That they lie to
como
you
caballos.
like
Todo,
horses,
que la tierra es un
everyone
globo.
that
Es
the earth is a
impagable.
globe,
Qué
it cannot be
lindo que
paid
es.
for. How beautiful it is.
Presten atención a
Pay
mis palabras.
attention to my
Qué
words.
lindo que es
How beautiful
darse
it
cuenta,
is
pero me
to
engañaron
notice,
en
oh, they
todo.
deceived me
Qué
in everything.
boludo.
Oh, what
No
an
lo
idiot.
hacen más.
They will never do it to me again.
Porque
See,
aprendes.
that's what happens because you learn.
Después no caes como
Then you'll never fall like
Una
an
vez que
idiot.
empezás,
Once
ya,
you
a mí no
start,
me la hacen otra
they're not
vez.
going to lie to me again.
Esta es la experiencia para
This
eso.
is what the
Si
experience
hubieras
is for.
nacido en un mundo
If you had been
perfecto,
born in a perfect
te
world,
vas a creer toda la vida
you'll believe everything
como si fuera
in life
cierto.
as if it were
Y no
true,
vas a haber
and you
disfrutado
won't
la otra
have
moneda.
been
Y
able
cuando me
to
refiero a
enjoy
disfrutarlo,
the other side of the coin. When I say enjoy, is to understand.
es entender.
It is to understand.
Entre el dolor y el
Because
placer
between
está muy
pain and
relacionado.
pleasure, it is very
Lo han escuchado muchas
related.
veces.
You've heard that a lot, like love and hate and fear. They're all related.
Entonces, esta
So then this
experiencia
experience,
es una experiencia para
it's
aprender.
an experience
Si
to
estás
learn.
desanimado,
If you
sacate
are
ese
sad,
desánimo.
take that sadness away.
El desánimo es el enemigo nuestro.
It is our enemy. Sadness is. It is not pain.
El dolor no.
It is
experimentar
not
el dolor,
pain.
sentirlo,
You experience pain, feel pain,
porque lo tenemos que
because
sentir.
we have to feel it.
Pero el desánimo
But
es el
sadness,
que nos quiere
to feel
sacar de
down,
esta vida.
it is what wants to take us out of this
Parece que
life.
es nuestro
That
enemigo.
is our enemy.
No es-
It's
no es
not
otra
anything
cosa
else
más que el
than
desánimo.
discouragement.
O el
Because
desánimo es decir,
discouragement
ya
is
no
to say, I
quiero
don't no longer want to play.
Y ahí sí se
And
pierde.
then everything is fucked.
Ahí se pierde
Everything is
todo.
fucked.
El desánimo,
Discouragement.
¿cómo se llama cuando
What do you say
está-
when someone is like
la
depression?
La
Depression is our enemy.
Tenemos que
We have to
luchar.
fight to
Decir,
say, no,
tengo
I have
tiempo
time
de jugar
to
este
play
juego.
this game.
Lo voy a
I'll play
jugar
it.
de la
In
forma que sea,
whatever,
pero lo
which
voy a
way,
jugar.
but I'll play it.
¿Y qué más
And what else?
alegre debería ser tú?
How much more happier should you be than to find
Este
that you
grupo,
found this group?
este
This
grupo
group,
que es
which
para
is
hacerse re
to become
fanático.
such a fan of this group.
Este
This
grupo
group
no se
is
vende.
not sold,
Este grupo
will not
es
sell
una,
out. It is a
sociedad
society
de los
of
socios.
associates.
Es de los
It is.
socios.
It belongs to the
Eso es
associates. That is
hermoso.
beautiful.
Hemos
We have founded
la
the
sociedad
society
del
of the Messiah because
el
the Messiah
Mesías es de los
is belongs to the associates that make up the Messiah, no one else.
Los que
Those that make up the Messiah is the Messiah. The rest
no
will
vamos a ser
never ever be the
Mesías,
Messiah.
va a ser
It'll be the rest
vamos a ser
that'll be
salvados.
saved by the Messiah.
No podés
You
deprimir.
cannot be depressed.
No
You
podés
cannot
estar
be
triste.
sad.
No
You
podés
cannot
decir,
say
"Mi
my
vida no
life has
tiene
no
sentido".
sense. Makes no
Tiene
sense.
todo
It
el
makes all the
sentido.
sense in the world.
Ya decir eso
Already
tiene
to say that
sentido,
makes sense
porque estás
because you're
acá,
here,
estás
you're
aburrida,
bored,
o estás
you're
aburrido.
bored.
No, ese es el sentido
That is
de
the
la
sense of
vida.
life.
Ese
That's
es
the
el
sense of
sentido de la
life,
vida,
to
experimentar.
experience it.
No,
No,
si
if
te
I
contaron
were
lo
to
que
tell you
hicieron,
what they
está
did to me,
perfecto,
that's
que lo
perfect.
hagan
Let them
más.
do it again.
O que ya no te
Or for
hagan,
them
te
to
dejen.
not do it again.
Porque ya
Don't allow
sabes,
them to do it because you already
evitar
know.
que te hagan,
Avoid
que te
it for
dejen,
people
que
to
te
do
hagan
that, for
doler.
people who cause
Esto
pain.
es qué
And what a
experiencia
marvelous
maravillosa,
experience that you cannot
impagable
pay for,
la experiencia
this
nuestra.
experience.
Pero más
But even
impagable
more
es
experience
pertenecer a
is
la
to belong to the
verdad
eternal truth.
impagable.
You cannot
Así
pay
que
for
lo
it, but the
mínimo,
least thing,
mínimo
the
que puedes
minimum
hacer
thing that you
es
could
pagar
do
tu
is to pay
cuota.
for your quote, your fee.
Juan 6:63,
John
el
6:63,
Espíritu
the
es el
Spirit
que
is
da
the one
vida.
that quickeneth,
La
the
carne
flesh
para nada aprovecha.
avails none.
Las
The words
palabras que
which
yo
I
os he
have spoken
hablado
to you,
son
they are
espíritu
spirit
y son
and they are
vida.
life.
Y las palabras
The
que te
words
acabo
that
de
I've just
decir,
told you,
¿qué más vida
what
que
more
eso?
life than those? What more spirit than that?
La carne no aprovecha
The
para
flesh
nada. La
availeth
carne
nothing.
no aprovecha para
The
nada.
flesh availeth
Te
nothing.
acabo de
I have just
contar
told
la
you the
historia
story
de la
of
creación.
creation,
¿Para qué estamos
what
acá?
we're here for,
¿Para qué
why
sufrís?
you suffer.
¿Para qué sufrís?
Why do you suffer?
Para experimentar
To
lo que es
experience
sufrir.
what
Si no
suffering
somos
is, or else how
felices
would you
en un mundo
know
perfecto, no hay forma
in a
de
perfect
sufrir.
world? There's
Se
no way to
matarían de
suffer. They
risa
would
si
laugh at you
no experimentan
if
dolor.
they don't
¿Qué es el
experience
dolor?
what pain is.
No,
What is
tenés
pain?
que
No, you have to
experimentar el dolor.
experience pain.
También por
Also,
eso
that is why I believe this is
locura
an
que es.
insanity
También
that
por
I'm
eso
about to say.
creo
That is why I also believe
que en el mundo
that in the
que
world that
viene
comes,
también va a haber
there
maldad
also be wickedness,
y que va a tener que ser
and that
corregida
it'll have to be
permanentemente.
corrected on a permanent basis.
También va a
There's
haber
also
algún
going to
tipo
be
de
some
dolor.
sort of pain.
Me parece
And I
justo
find
que
that
haya
it's
dolor,
correct for there
que
to
haya
be pain, for there
accidentes,
to be accidents,
que haya
for there
todo
to be
tipo de
all types
dolor
of
y que
pain,
tenga
and
que
that
venir
the
el
Messiah has
Mesías
to come
y a
and
solucionarlo.
solve it.
Que un
An
accidente
accident,
y se
and
murió
somebody
una persona,
died,
se
and they
murió.
died.
Y
And
¿qué
what
pasó?
happened
Acá
here? We
tenemos
have
un asesino.
murder, They fought. The neighbor in a perfect world already. whom do we call police? No, not the police. The Messiah is the police, the government. So then they come, somebody that has that jurisdiction says, what happened here? Don't tell me because I already know what happened. So then you resurrect the person and you impose a punishment of something that they have to pay or that they have to be friends or 10,000 things, and you solve the problem. But something has to exist. It's not that you cannot just say no one can ever die. No, something has to happen. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I think, or else it would nothing would work. I would think that lies have to continue to exist between the people, and then later they have to fix things and for them to ask each other for forgiveness. Don't you think so? Or else it doesn't work. If you don't have the capacity of lying in the future world, then we're already robots. Because you're going to say nothing but truths. And you're not going to say, what do I say? I'll say no, I'll say this, I'll say that. So then, if a problem happens, we call the government, or how they call the police here, we'll say judgment. A person sues another. It's just that the judges, they're telepathic. They know everything. They don't need any witnesses or anything. This happened, this happened. So everything corrects. That's what I think. And if it were so, it'd be a lot better. It's a lot more fun. I cannot consider a world in which everything is good at kindness and truth and pleasure and prayer and songs to the Messiah, and that there's no soccer, no nothing like that, or kicks. I cannot conceive that, or a little bit of rivalry, that there's fights. Hey, what's happening here? Or else I cannot conceive we would be robots. We would be robots. There's no mistakes. This is, we're doing this and this happened and everything. 20 people dead. Yes, a disaster. The bodies all over the place. And what do? Call the government. Government says, what happened here? Okay, he resurrects everything that no one happened. You see how Yeshua did with Lazarus, right? What happened? We already buried him. Why should we do anything? It's already fixed. Don't do that mix because you see that it explode. You've learned, right? You've learned. Exactly. See, he would resurrect alone. But of course, then the government comes along, which is the Messiah, and he says, resurrect everyone, and he fixes everything, says, don't do this, don't do anything. I'll tell you how it's better for it to not blow up. For example, I think it'd be a lot more fun that way, wouldn't it? And for the people to experience such a pain, momentary pain, and for them to lead the government, which is the Messiah, to come and fix things. I think that would be better. A lot better. I see them as more real. I cannot conceive a world everyone's singing hallelujah to God. Nah. In fact, in the Jewish mind, I don't know what movie, I haven't watched it. My wife is going to tell me which one it is, or Brian. I think I watched it. There's a movie where when they would go to heaven, it was all everything so perfect in harmony that they decided to commit suicide. What was the movie? The Good Place. It's a miniseries. 6 seasons. Oh, really long novel. Okay, it's a series. It's a series. 6-season series. The point that I want to highlight is that when they would go to heaven, everything was so perfect, right? It was perfect. So perfect that they decide to do away with their existence, right? Listen well, because actually that makes sense. When everything is so perfect, and the years pass, or the centuries, and you say, well, let's make up a gate that you pass on to the non-existence. Because everything's so boring. Tell the truth. And that's normal. It's normal. Never will it work for everything to be perfect. No. What will work is that the government is the true one. And the rest, the people, they'll have their problems, but that's fine. It becomes a lot more fun. A lot more fun that way. Is that how you see it, right? As clear as daylight. It's evident. Or else we'll going to have to open the gate of the non-existence. And you pass on to say, hey, can you pass on to it? You become a star. You don't feel anything, nothing, just a star. Would you like that? They're like, yes, please take me out of this boring life, yes. Did you hear what Leslie said? They had eaten everything that they wanted. Whatever they would eat, whatever they wanted. Yes, of course, they would eat whatever they wanted. They had done whatever they wanted. They had lived everything that they wished. They were always in a condition of happiness completely. There comes a point that says, where's the door to the non-existence? Exactly. If life is not an up and down, and there's not light and day, it becomes boring. Oh, Minto told me. Oh, Minto told me in the miniseries that the fishermen would go fishing, and they would go fishing, but when they got there, it was no longer fresh. It was all, even if they brought it in a whole pile there in the ship, they will all die. So then somebody discovered this is like, I'm gonna do something that pursues them. So then a shark, even if it's tiny, so that he makes battle to them. So then the shark would eat one or two or whatever. But in the fear and trying to have the shark not eat them, they would all be alive. When they would get, the fish would not die because they had a complete fear of the shark. And some would get there eaten by the shark, but they just needed one shark. If there's no shark and it was all peace, they would die. Very interesting. That's how it was, right, Minto? You had to have an incentive for them to be alive. And I see this even more clear every time. My mind can no longer see a world like Zen, like that, perfect Zen like that. No. We need light and day, light and day, light and night. Yeah, you told me about that one. Right, there was a place, I'll tell you, like, can you hear me well? There was a place in, I don't know what part of Japan, or Okinawa, with a high level of suicide. But because they were so bored. There's no crime, it's monotonous, and it's all nothing but work. And so then the mother, seeing that his son, it was her son, right? Was already had that intention of suicide because of monotonous, sent him to a place that was a little more to Colombia, and now you have to take care of yourself in Colombia, even though the best friends are all the same thing happens. To live in Colombia saved him and gave sense to his life. Saved him, and he comprehended that there was a better place than to everybody live in peace. What are you proposing? No, I'm just saying how things are. Exactly. It's that psychology. Maybe we expect continuous peace, but it'll be so boring. You're going to say, hey, just like the rockers say, send me to hell for a bit. Of course, send me to hell for a bit. Don't forget that tomorrow at 2 p.m. at my hour, Boca Place, and we have such a team. Not all the teams are available there for tomorrow, but we have such a team. We bought 7 players. 7 players. I really liked it. It was El Vasco. I loved it. I loved it even more how he spoke. I loved how he spoke. Some guy that I liked, this guy from Vasco, I liked him. It was his dream to play in Boca. Chokoi Kenji, wow. And if you want to learn how to play football, then go to Argentina. Don't go to some country. Don't go to some country where it's all peace and tranquility, because they'll let you play in cotton. You have to play in a place where they shit on you. Hold on, exactly. That's where you have to go if you want to learn, right? If you want to learn. Very well. Let us pass on to No, of course, yes. There were some times that they were sending them somewhere, but I can't recommend people to send them to Brazil. Brazil lost the essence of football and their samba. Don't be sending Brazil. They're going to teach you to lose 6-0, go to the champions of the world, go to the ones that know how to play. Very well. Anyway. I will now start, because I'm about to leave you already. I'm going to start to read Jeremiah 31, but before that, I'm going to read the text of Jeremiah 30, so that you record it in your mind. I always read it, but this time I'll start with number 31, and then I'll leave you. Jeremiah 30. The word of Yahweh that came to Jeremiah, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh, the God of Israel, saying, Write in a book all the words which I have spoken unto thee, for behold, days cometh, saith Yahweh, in which I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel of Judah, saith Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve Yahweh, their God, and David, their king. Who's David, their king? It is the Messiah. This society of the associates, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore, David is the Messiah. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. I'm not going to comment to this, because I've already commented. We don't care any about this. We're not going to allow Yahweh to do this. We could care less for him to say, I'm going to punish all the rest, and then also not leave you unpunished. But even if I read it, remember my words, which I have spoken. For thus saith Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. This is all simplemente how Yahweh wounded us, like an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one for the multitude. He tells you, how do I chastise you? With a cruel chastisement for the multitude of thine iniquity. What iniquity? Your iniquity. We understand this is all just symbolic. In the multitude of your sins. Oh yeah, tremendous sins. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversary, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they shall spoil thee, shall be a spoil, and all that pray unto thee will I give a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh. Because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, which no man seeketh after. Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will multiply them, and they shall not be few, and I will glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all their oppressors. Here comes what I care about, or we care about. And their nobles, and we're talking about after the 70 years of the captivity of Babylon in which we are. Those 70 years have been fulfilled in the year 2018, when Israel turned 70 years old. Israel represents Babylon. And in 2018, from 1948 to 2018 is 70 years. From then on out is what starts precisely the purification or the exit from Babylon. And that is why we're 7 years away in 2,300 days and eves and morns from 2018 will be up now in February 5th. But from that moment on is when it says from her, from that exit, from that purification, when Babylon turns 70, her governor shall proceed. That prince is the Messiah. It is King David that he just mentioned. So then, the Messiah is not in heaven. The Messiah is not the one that came 2,000 years ago. The Messiah is not the divine Son of Yahweh that is in heaven. The Messiah proceeds from Babylon and proceeds precisely after the 70 years. And from her who was in Babylon shall her governor proceed. It is the same thing as to say from the congregation that was in Babylon does their governor come from. It is the same thing as to say from Babylon comes the Messiah. That's the way it is. As clear as that. Taking all the covers off from Babylon, after the 70 years comes the Messiah. And from within her will her governor come. It's talking about the same thing. It's just that in this translation, it would seem as if it were one thing, the governor, and the other. No, it's talking about exactly the same thing. It is the same thing. We'll call the owner of the world, the Messiah, the Lord of the world, comes from what is considered to be Babylon after the 70 years. Why? Because it's very clear. From Jeremiah 25 to here, that we're in number 30, it's talking about the exit after the 70 years. It is absolutely clear. It is marvelous. Jerusalem 2001 says, Jeremiah 30:21, and the nobles shall be themselves. Who? That group that comes from Babylon after the 70 years. And it'll be one of themselves. Their governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause him to draw near. And I will cause him, no, where was I? I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me.
Well,
que
it's
todavía
just that
no llegó a esa parte.
that part has not, we have
Pero
not
esa-
gotten to
esa
that part of
parte
the
del
text. But that part of the text
es maravillosa.
is marvelous.
Lo leo otra
I'll
vez
read
en
it
el
once
Reino
again in
Valera.
the Spanish RV 1960.
De ella saldrá su
And their
príncipe,
nobles shall be
y del
of
medio de
themselves,
ella
and their
saldrá
governor
su
shall proceed
señoreador.
from the midst of
Ese
them.
príncipe
That
y
prince and
señoreador
governor
es el Mesías.
is the
¿De dónde
Messiah.
sale?
Where does he
¿Desciende
come
del
from? He
cielo?
descends
No.
from heaven? No.
Desciende del cielo,
Doesn't come
sale de
from heaven,
Babilonia.
comes from Babylon.
Y te lo dijo antes,
And he
David.
said it before, David,
Príncipe,
the prince,
señoreador.
the
O
ruler,
sea,
in other
Mesías,
words, Messiah,
gobernador
the ruler
del mundo.
of the world,
Sale de
comes
Babilonia.
from Babylon
Y sale
and
después
comes
que Babilonia
after
cumple
Babylon
70 años.
turns
Más
70
claro
years.
no puede ser.
It cannot be any clearer.
Y le haré llegar
And I will cause him
cerca.
to draw near.
Es el único que
It is the
Yahweh
only
trae
one that
cerca.
Yahweh
Y esto
brings
es
near to him,
simbólico,
and this is symbolic.
porque nadie
Because
vio
no
Yahweh
one
de cerca.
has seen
Pero
Yahweh
ese
up close,
David
but that
sí.
David
¿Por
did.
qué?
Why?
Porque lo ve
Because
a
he
Yahweh al
sees
desnudo,
Yahweh
por
in
así
the
decirlo
naked,
simbólicamente.
per se, symbolically speaking.
Ve
He
que
sees
Yahweh
that Yahweh
el
is
Satanás
the
que ve el
Satan
cristianismo.
that Christianity
que
sees.
Yahweh
It sees that Yahweh
el que
is
está atrás de
the one
Babilonia
that is
y le da
behind
poder.
Babylon and gives him power.
Eso es ver a
That
Yahweh.
is what it is to see Yahweh. The rest cannot even see him. They don't come near. They think he's a God of peace and that they're Satan
Entonces
apart
dice,
from him. So
"Y
then
le
it
haré
says,
llegar
and I will
cerca,
cause him to
conocerme
draw near to know
íntimamente,
him intimately,
y él se acercará a
and
mí,
he shall approach unto me.
porque ¿quién
For
es el que
who
se
is
atreve a
that
acercarse a mí?"
engaged
Dice
his
Yahweh.
heart to
Bueno,
approach
todo
unto me,
esto
saith Yahweh? Well,
es
all this,
un
which is a
gran,
great,
em, ¿cómo se llama
how
esa frase
do you
que
say
son
that
un
phrase,
acertijo?
that
Esto
it's
es
a
un gran
puzzle? This is a
acertijo.
great puzzle.
¿Qué es lo que está diciendo?
What is he saying? A great
Todo el mundo
riddle.
que lee esto dice,
Everyone that reads
¿qué
this
es lo que
says,
está diciendo?
what is he saying?
Que va a salir un príncipe,
That a prince will
que va a ser
come,
el señoreador,
that'll be the ruler,
y que
and
Yahweh
that
lo acerca
Yahweh
hasta
causes
él.
him to draw near unto
Porque
him,
¿quién se atreve a
because who
acercarse
dare
hasta
to
él?
approach unto him?
Exactamente. ¿Quién se
Exactly.
atreve
Who
a
dareth
decir,
to say
Yahweh
Yahweh
es culpable de todo?
is to blame
¿Quién
of
se atreve
everything?
a decir,
Who dares to
Yahweh
say Yahweh
bendice a los malos y se
blesses the
complace?
wicked and has pleasure in them?
¿Quién se atreve a
Who
decir
dares
eso?
to say that?
El Elohim de
The
justicia.
Elohim of justice.
Y esto es
And this
tan
is,
clave
it
esto
is
que
so key
no sé cómo
that I don't know
ponerle más
how to
énfasis
make
para
more
que lo
emphasis
vean,
into it so
porque
that you
es
can see it because
maravilloso.
it's
Sale
marvelous.
de Babilonia
Comes from
y
Babylon
sale después de los
and
70
comes
años.
after the 70
Miren que
years.
no va a haber
Notice
otra
that
Babilonia.
no other Babylon will ever exist.
Babilonia
Babylon
es
is
y está
and is
representado
represented
por Israel.
by Israel.
Apocalipsis 17
Revelation
es muy
17
claro.
is very clear.
Apocalipsis 13
Revelation
también.
13 also.
Babilonia
Babylon
recibe una herida
receives
mortal
a lethal wound
y después
and afterward
resucita
resurrects
y es sanada.
and is healed.
¿Qué nación
What nation
en el mundo
in the world
perdió
lost
todo?
everything,
Fue expulsada de
was
su
kicked
tierra
out from their
y
land,
regresó
and
y se hizo
came
una
back
nación
and became a
fuertísima y
super
que
strong
se
nation?
gobierna el mundo.
And that
They rule the world. What
¿Qué
nation? The only
La
one
única
is
se
called
llama
Israel.
the only
La
one is
única
called
se
Israel,
llama Israel.
because
Porque
the
los
Jews
judíos son los
own
dueños de
all
todos
the
los
resources per se,
así decirlo. Los recursos
medical,
médicos, la
pharmakeia,
los recursos
economical,
económicos, los
the
bancos,
banks, and
también
also
los
the
dueños
owners
de los recursos
of the
políticos.
political resources, because they have the power. So then,
Entonces, no va a
there
haber
won't
otra
be another
Babilonia
Babylon
excepto
except
la
for the
Babilonia
Babylon that we
que
see.
vemos. Y no
And
hace-
there's
no
no
hace
need
falta
to
ni
even look for
buscar otra
another
Babilonia
Babylon
cuando la
when you
ves
see it
clara.
clear.
Y
And
cuando
when Babylon
Babilonia
turns
cumple
70
70
years
años
old
en
in
esta
this
época y llegando al
stage
fin
and
de
getting
los
to the end of
tiempos,
times,
todo es
everything
más
is
que
more than
claro,
clear. It is absolutely
contundentemente claro.
clear, astoundingly
Se
clear.
cumple los 70 años de
After the
Babilonia,
70 years,
de
and then from
Babilonia
Babylon comes
sale
the
el
Messiah,
Mesías,
and the
y el
Messiah
Mesías se
comes
acerca
near
a
to Yahweh,
conoce
knows
a
Yahweh,
lucha
fights against
con
Yahweh,
vence
defeats
a
Yahweh, and
y
Yahweh
lo
blesses him.
bendice. Y
And
el
in
fin
the
de
end
los
of the 6,000 years is what
comienza
starts,
a
is
reinar
the Messiah starts to rule, or at least to gain strength to rule on the seventh millennium. And that is what we're seeing right before our very eyes. I know that days passes, the Shabbat passes, maybe you feel that you hear the same thing. No, you're not hearing the same thing. You're hearing an instruction so that it is recorded in your mind that from the 5th of February, Yahweh has the gate open to bless the Messiah.
from the 5th of February. It could be this year, it could be next year, but the prophecies that he has given, not that I have given, that he gave, says 2,300 eves and morns afterward, the temple shall be, the sanctuary shall be purified. The answer was until 2,300 days, eves and morns, after this, the sanctuary shall be purified. And afterwards, the chapter ends of Daniel chapter 8. It says, 8:26, the vision of the eves and morns has been shown unto thee, or revealed unto you, or shown unto you, and it's true. But keep it secret, for it shall be fulfilled when a long time has passed. In other words, at the end of times. This vision, which is fulfilled at the end of times, is now. It's not even the future, it is now. Now, with our very own eyes, we have seen that Babylon has turned 70, that there is for something way past us. From 2018, we have learned how to begin and understand how our body works. Even though we cannot, or we have the power entirely to revert every single conflict that we experience, but at least we know how it works, and we do not eat the stories of the religions of the white robe. And as it turns out, 1 year afterwards, a great light comes that involved the whole world. That light that involved the whole world did not affect us at all, not at the very least. We had already learned something else. But what is the reason of that? Why? Because of the reason that a process had begun. That process from February 5th of this year, 2025, it is fulfilled. It is 2,300 eves and morns. Afterward, the sanctuary shall be purified. And the sanctuary needs the blessing. That purification, that is symbolism, is the anointing of Yahweh. The anointing to make us a Messiah. Just like that, very clear. Either we are the eternal truth, or no one is. It's just like that. Because the rest are societies that are private. The rest are societies that have an owner, and to top it off, they're all liars. We have comprehended this. And we comprehended it in the time, the specific timing that the prophecy indicates. 70 years of prophecy from Babylon. At the exit from Babylon, Yahweh would raise a David. Yahweh would raise a prince. Yahweh would raise a ruler that would show things to him about him that no one understands. What for? To make him a Messiah. And we're in the time, the adequate time. And that is why number 24, which is the text of the invitation, says, the fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents and false intents of his heart. There are many lies involved, the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days, ye shall consider it. And precisely in what we understand. Now we understand this text clearly. That the fierce anger is this experience, that it is necessary. Even if we fight against Yahweh, I also tell you, it is necessary. It is necessary that we have felt, that we have been abused, that we have been mistreated, that we feel the pain, that we feel the lies. It was necessary. There's no other way. There's no other way that I can explain to you what it is to deceive you until I deceive you. There's no other way to explain to you what it is to hit you until I hit you. There's no other way This is the only way, the correct way of the Creator, and that is why He submitted us to this. But He will also give us the possibility of having eternal life through the Messiah, because He forms a Messiah, and that Messiah will awaken everyone, because the idea was not to come to this world to experience that and be perfect. No, that's not the idea. Now, the Messiah has a property, a special one that the rest do not have. The property is that He understands that justice is that they all live, that everyone lives. That's what it is. That is why Yahweh says, you have loved justice and abhorred wickedness. That is why I anoint you. I make you a God, and I make you a Messiah. For that reason, the rest did not have that quality. That property did not have it. But the Messiah does have it, because the Messiah wants life for everyone. For everyone, no matter how much wickedness they have exercised, for everyone. That is the secret of all this. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not be appeased until He have done and performed the intents of His heart. In the latter days ye shall understand this. 31. And I start with number 31, and then I'll stop. And we'll leave off for next Shabbat, the rest. At the same time, saith Yahweh, 31:1. At the same time, saith Yahweh, will I be God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith Yahweh, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Yahweh hath appeared of old unto me, saying, yeah, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. None of this has anything to do with Israel. None of this has anything to do with the people of Israel. Not now or past. None of this has to do with Christianity. It's all a parable that speaks about the Messiah. Nothing else. Again, ye shall plant in the mountains of Samaria vines, and the planter shall plant and shall eat thereof. For the day shall be that the watchman upon the mount of Ephraim shall cry, arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto Yahweh our Elohim. For thus saith Yahweh, sing and with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahweh, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north of country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them, the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together, a great company shall return together. They shall come with weeping, and with supplication will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel. And Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of Yahweh, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattereth Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. I think we had already read this, but oh well, we're reading it again. I didn't think so, but we had already read it many chapters ago. But time has passed. For Yahweh hath redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he, and therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahweh, for wheat, and for wine, and for oil, and for the young of the flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice for their sorrow. And I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, saith Yahweh. All this that I've just read, actually, I could care less at all. It is part of the garbage that conceals. I do not want for Yahweh to give me anything except for the blessing. I don't want him to give me a house. I don't want him to give me a terrain, children. I don't want him to give me according to him, the pleasure of seeing my friends destroyed. I don't want any of that. I just want his blessing. That is the difference of when we read these texts, that they're so confusing. This is the part that Yahweh fabricates the cover with. Because, of course, if I were to not understand this, and I think I'm Israel, I'd say, oh, how good. I'm evil. He says, I punished you because you deserved it. I punished you like an enemy. I punished you cruelly because I wasn't going to just let you go unpunished. I'm going to give you this back. I'm going to give you that back. All this, I think it's garbage. I want to make that very clear. When I read this, I don't read it saying, oh, how beautiful, and they'll come with joy. And it's a lie. I don't want for Yahweh to give me anything. He already gave me life, this experience. Now I understand that there's only one solution. The solution is that he makes us God. That's the only thing I want. I don't want anything else. I don't want a house. I don't want anything. He can't buy me. He cannot buy me. Because I know his plan. So that everything that I've just read is complete garbage. I don't want one soul of his promises. Thus saith Yahweh. A voice was heard in Ramah. Yes. Yeah, we had read it because I've explained this. Lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, dead children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. Rachel did not want to be comforted. So then out of this whole story that I've just read, we are Rachel. We don't want to be comforted by Yahweh. We don't want him to give us anything. We want him to give us power to resurrect. That's the only way to be comforted. We don't want any gifts and promises. We don't want, oh, they're going to come to my holy mountain. No, you don't have a holy mountain anymore, Yahweh. You don't have it. And we will not make a temple for you ever again. We're going to make a mansion for ourselves. Just like that, for ourselves. We're going to make a temple we're never going to make a temple to worship you again. We're going to make government houses which the world can enter into to enjoy, to thank us, and to be guided and fix their problems. But we're no longer going to make a temple. There will no longer be any temples, just government houses of the Messiah, so that the people come, of course. So then, it is very different, a Jewish plan, a Christian plan, than the plan of the Messiah. The Messiah says, no, what we need is a great temple, but for us. Just like that. Houses for us. And also houses of government. That is what I refer to when I say houses for us. Government houses where we will rule from this world, not worship God. God does not need to be worshipped. He does not need to be worshipped. If he were to need that, he would not be God. He would be a needy being. Look at worship like pity. Worship is like pity. Look at it like that. A being that does not need to be worshipped. I do believe in being grateful, in thanking, in praising, but worshiping, no. 16. Thus saith Yahweh, refrain thy voice from weeping, and thine eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded. Very well, that is for us. We are Rachel. Out of everything that he said here, I'll save, because it's concealed. I'll take all the garbage out. Oh, promise this and that. No, I don't want anything. I don't want to take all that out of the contract. We're Rachel, and we cry for the dead humanity. Every last one of them. Those are our children. Humanity is ours, and we cry for their death. And I will not be comforted with any stupid shit you tell me. So then Yahweh says, okay, Rachel, refrain thy tears, for there is a reward for thee. There is a reward for thee. Saith Yahweh, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. What is the land of the enemy? It's your land, Yahweh. You're the enemy. You killed them. You created death. The land of the enemy is the land of Yahweh, the land of death. That is where they're going to come from. And there is hope in thine end, saith Yahweh, that thine children shall come again to their own border. I find that to be great. I find that to be great. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus, thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised as a bullock, unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art Yahweh my God. Surely after that I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed, I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith Yahweh. Okay, another garbage, atomic garbage. Ephraim is the north part of Israel, which has disappeared. He took them into captivity, and it disappeared. The 10 tribes of the north disappeared. They were assimilated by, per se, the nations of the Goyim, and there was no trace left of them southern. Yahweh says they'll come back to their own land. Okay. The Messiah will decide that when the Messiah finds it appropriate, Yahweh will not make anyone come back. Yahweh, the only thing he can do is to anoint the Messiah, no one else. And then later to enter into what we know that he'll do, rest or inactivity of Yahweh, which is comparable to death by the inactivity. 21. Set thee up way marks, make thee high heaps, set thine heart toward the highway, even the way which thou wentest. Turn again, O Virgin of Israel, turn again to these thy cities. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Yes, of course, we've seen this whole part many weeks ago. The woman shall compass a man. What is... This is incomprehensible. I've explained it already. Ever since I've explained it, I try to understand it even more clearly. Because as it turns out, it's difficult to understand something new. It says, I'm going to do something new thing upon earth. The woman shall surround a man. What it means? A woman shall compass a man. The only new thing that there could be is as follows. That woman is the Messiah. It is the wife of Yahweh. And shall compass the man. It is no longer that the man shall compass the woman, but the woman, the man, and that man has to be Yahweh. This is one of the interpretations, as to be Yahweh, saying that the woman shall encompass a man, surrounded. Yahweh will have a barrier by the woman. In the case of it being backwards, because if it's new, man has always compassed the woman, not the woman compasses the man. We have been compassed by Yahweh the whole time, surrounded by Yahweh. Now it'll be backwards. It says, if we surround Yahweh. That is what's new. I'll read it again. It's incomprehensible under any aspect of Scripture because it is another riddle, but I believe that it's what it means. The one that will command is the woman, in this case is the Messiah, as a woman, and Yahweh, being man, will be surrounded and set apart at rest without acting. How long will that go about? Oh, the backsliding daughter, for Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. It's new in these 6,000 years. A woman shall surround a man, or the woman shall compass a man. And that is what precisely we have done. We have lived under the man's foot. For example, in the cultures, the previous ones, not so previous, but speaking about all the generations of the world, and in the times that are a little before ours, we've always seen that the man would crush the woman in a way that's brutal. The woman could not have any right, not even to vote. He didn't have the right in the religious part. Notice, had a right as a priest, the woman, could she enter into the temple? No. The same thing as in every religion, starting with the Catholic one. Can a woman be a priestess? No. And following even the Adventist, barely now are they accepting, and there's still a controversy, that they can ordain as a pastor a woman, or as a female pastor, however you want to call it. There's still controversy about that in this very year, in this day and age. But not before there was no controversy, they just couldn't, and that's it, period. A woman had no right to anything. She was surrounded by her husband, and the opinion of her husband was like that. The woman had no right, not even to sexuality that was satisfactory. And I'm speaking about ancient times until a very, very recent. And now what has started in this humanity, speaking about man and woman, what has started, things started to change. But you already know this. What I want you to understand is the part, the psychological part. Let's see if you paid attention, or if I can explain it well. It's not that a man would crush a woman and all, and that is all that I'm trying to say. No. What I'm trying to say is that a woman wanted to be crushed. It's not machismo, what I'm saying. The woman would not accept a man to be very comprehensive and good, because it would not enter into her mind for him to be a macho that is very macho. Let's see if I help you comprehend this. It was so strong, the way of living, a man crushing a woman, that a woman would not even notice a man if in her eyes is kind of like that has mannered or feminine, docile, or how do they say it in Mexico when they say it? Mandilon, which means a man that is bossed around by a woman. Imagine when a man started to do things in the kitchen, they would call him that, and a feminine, and Also, a man carrying the baby. Imagine the baby carrying the baby and sweeping the house. Mentors, what is he laughing about? It's an image. Kind of like, hold on a minute. That's not the role of the man to have the baby and to be cleaning the house. And the lady just watching TV, for example. But you start to see that now. I'm sick and tired of seeing this country, the men buying with the baby, carrying it and buying it. Wow. It shocked me, but it has changed. But that's not the point. The point is that I want you to comprehend something. The woman would not conceive for a man to not abuse her. She needed it as a custom and by beliefs. If a man was too good, too docile, she wouldn't like him. She wouldn't like him because already in the belief of so many years of that system, she would not feel attracted to a man that was way too docile. She would not be attracted. She wanted a macho. I want a macho. You understand what I'm trying to say? Or am I not expressing myself? The woman needed what she hated. And what she was complaining about. She needed it. She needed a guy that was rude. She needed a guy of those characteristics to fall in love at some point in time, or else she wouldn't even be attracted. And would accept them. Because it's not that the women would just on a permanent basis accept it. No, they lived within it all. They would say happy, let's say happy, like the whole world lives happy, which is not everybody happy, but they lived happy, accepting to be abused, accepting to be brought down, accepting that they had no rights to anything. And that is how they lived happily ever after, like they still live, quote unquote. I want you to understand, in Arabia, where they have to be covered, if they get together, the women cannot be there where the men are, where the men can go out with any woman, they can't say anything, they live happily. Their lives. They live it. They live their lives in that way. So, what am I trying to get to the point of this? It is that they have the exact effect of somebody that has been kidnapped and they fall in love. What do you call that? Stockholm Syndrome. I've explained this already. But I want to take it to a different place. The woman would accept to be abused and she said that it was right. Did you know that happened to all of us? Because Yahweh, let's order how to say this. We as Christians, and even the Christians of now that are left, even few, they accept the abuse, the explicit abuse from their God, and they don't say anything. In other words, they accept death, knowing that God gave it to them, and they don't say anything out of fear, out of customs, out of beliefs. Every woman has pains when she goes into labor, unless a man, not God, a man, helps her to make those pains go away, because naturally their God, up until today, gives them incredible pain and does not complain against God. The Christians do not say, "What a son of a bitch is God. I have to still be suffering this pain. Why don't you take him out? I mean, you are something evil." No, it doesn't come to their mind. It doesn't come to their mind all the situations in which God killed millions of people, and it doesn't come to their mind saying, in the end of it all, I'm worshiping a God that shows that he's evil and unrighteous. What am I doing? No. We, the Christians, I include myself, are like that woman that is abused by her husband, that is struck down by her husband, abused sexually by her husband, and they don't say anything, and she accepts it. She accepts it. But as it happens, the humanity has awoken, and a woman no longer accepts the abuse from her husband. And when her husband wants to abuse her, now she says, you know what, I'm sick and tired. This is going to be, or we get separated, and things are not like, I am the macho and I say what I want. No, no, sir. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, you're going to do this and that. And if you don't like it, this is as far as we go. That is what happened with us. As a woman, in this symbology, our husband Yahweh has abused us, has insulted us, has mistreated us, and has been killing us little by little, and we would accept it still by saying, oh, dear loving God, thank you. Don't treat me so bad, bless me. Until we got to the point of saying, I am divorced of you. I don't want anything to do with you. Nothing. You're dog shit. Until you learn to treat me well. I cannot stand your curses. Now I understand that you are the one to blame for all my pain and curses. It is you. That is what we have awoken to. That is why when you see it in humanity about the woman with man, you start to see humanity with God. Saying, that's it, it's over. And I can assure you, no, but if God doesn't do anything, let's suppose that God doesn't do anything, he left and died or something, and doesn't do anything, and we all die. I'm not going to be able to see it, but from here in 100 years, I believe that it only takes 100 years, and Christianity will no longer exist. It'll be left, I don't know. There's always crazy, stupid idiots that don't understand anything. But the masses, through the conscience, collective conscience that I believe in the collective conscience, they will no longer believe that they are the evil ones and that God is the good one. They will abhor God, and this will not take more than 100 years. God doesn't do anything in less than 100 years. No one will be left that believes in God except for the little stupid little groups like that, like always, that believe until someday they notice. But already they will no longer exist because that is what's happening. The churches are being shut down. The Catholics don't know how to keep the churches filled. Or else look at statistics. How many churches are being shut down in your country? How many Christian ones? How many Catholic ones? Look at it. And you'll find out, and you'll be surprised because the people at a level, everything that I speak about, I don't say just for you, it is left in the air. It is kind of like that collective conscience of the monkeys that I told you one time, that they started, they wouldn't eat a potato because they all thought that a guy was looking at them. They thought that it hurt them until one of them started to watch it and ate it. And he saw that he didn't die. Another one came and ate it and he didn't die. Another one came and ate it and didn't die. And all of a sudden, in the aisles that even 14 kilometers away, they all started to eat it. How is it that they learned without having seen in that aisle and the monkeys started to eat the potatoes or whatever? How? With a conscience. The collective conscience, there's something in our mind that joins us. That what joins us is God. Because out of God came life, and we are an extension of God. We are a manifestation of God, individual, but we are something, and there's something that joins us between all of humanity. I told Angelina a prophecy that I told her it was fulfilled the next day. She told me last week, she's like, did you know that they're going to take TikTok away? And me, since I don't have TikTok, I don't have TikTok in my phone, I don't have TikTok in my computer, I could care less about it. I said, what do you mean they're going to take TikTok away? She's like, yep, already. They're going to ban it tomorrow. I don't believe you. She's like, yes. They always say the same thing, but they cannot ban you. How many users? She says here in the U.S. it's like 200 million users. 200 million users. The government can ban it. They're not going to ban it. She says, yes, they're going to ban us. And I told her, okay, if they ban you, it won't last anything at all. They're going to come back. She says, no. And then she says, well, Trump says that, yes. That Trump, I said, that son of a bitch. Says, I want to ban TikTok. Do you remember when Trump wanted to ban TikTok? And now that Biden bans it, he wants to give it back. What a son of a bitch. I mean, that's the way it is. When he was the president, he says, I want to ban TikTok because the Chinese, I don't know what the fuck, these spies. And not that Biden says, no, I want to give TikTok. I mean, it's all crazy. So I told Angelina, don't you worry, Angelina. This will be reverted like that because of the quantity of users. A government cannot, there's a psychological pressure that all the users that like something, they create something in space. And that space gets together in a mass, just like the mass, conflictive mass, just like the conflictive mass that you don't see, but it exists. It exists. And it's so heavy that it kills you. That mass of all the people that are upset, what a son of a bitch, who took TikTok away? It gets to those people that are not, and the pressure is so great that all of a sudden they said, no, we have to give this back quickly, we have to fix it, we have to get back to them. And that's what happened. 1 or 2 days banned, and it came back. How long was it banned? 10 hours. But I told her before they ban it, or else just ask Angelina. I said, they'll give it back to you quickly, right away. I knew it. What is it that I knew? What is the collective conscience? Don't think that the movement of the woman and how all the men started to treat women better, it is just because of the influence of TV. No. There is a collective influence in all human beings. And this influence against God started. That is why the churches are losing their members. They don't even know why. I tell you why. Because every time that we speak, and every time that somebody understands this, it becomes stronger. And all of a sudden, all the human beings understand the same thing. They say, but of course, before it's impossible to turn it around. Do you know why it worked? That about the vacuum cleaners, because they all believed in the fucking vacuum cleaners ever since you were little. They've been giving it to you, so that when the solution came, they say, oh yeah, give it to me. If it would have been half and half, I can assure you that they won't do it. And now there's even stronger mental strength that was bad, and they start to recognize it. Why? Because there is a collective conscience. That collective conscience is inexplicable, but we're all connected. And when many of us start to think in a certain way, the rest starts to be influenced. Do you understand what I'm saying, right? Starts to be influenced to the point that it even turns around. They have to be very strong to be in the country in a while. In 100 years from now, no one will believe in the biblical Christian God. No one. Just like that, no one. Not even the Jews. I can assure you in this point. Up until now, it's believed in because humans have not awoken. But since women have awoken against men, also the woman starts to wake up against men. In this case, symbolically speaking, the woman will surround the man. We are sick and tired that the man surrounds us. And that which is new will be collective. And when the Messiah arises, it'll be even massive. The woman will surround the man. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel. They will even say this word in the land of Judah and in their cities. When I shall once again the captives come back, Yahweh bless you, O Mount of Zion of justice. We just want the blessing of Yahweh, nothing else. And there shall dwell Judah, and also in all of her cities husbandmen, and they that go forth with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. Upon this I awakened and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me. And then what follows in number 27, we shall read it and take the cover off and understand the essence, the spirit thereof next Shabbat. Wait, what have we learned today? Today we've learned, or we highlight it, because you already know this, that this is a game. And you have to know how to play it. You have to know how to pay the pieces with what they're worth. And if we start to distribute different values for certain things that are very painful, we have more money to make other investments, and the investment that we have to do is to invest in ourselves. The investment that we have to do is in our spirit. Other thing we learned is that this world is turning around. Like it has been turning from an excessive machismo product of a law of Yahweh that says that your desire shall be unto your husband, that has turned almost entirely, although there's still certain glimpses of that because we're still under that curse. The same thing is what's happening about God. In less than 100 years, if this were to exist and he does nothing, because I don't believe, because that's what's going to happen now, if it were to not exist, the collective conscience of the people will stop believing in a Christ, in a God, and they will turn to something else, because the Christians are losing their faith, clearly. But it's not about losing the faith, but about noticing in whom they have faith. When they start to notice that the God of the Bible does not work, and that their hope does not have to be in that God, but in something else, in a real Messiah, that is when the collective conscience will change. Everything will change when Yahweh gets to the conclusion that it is time to anoint the Messiah. And for him to say, I will no longer do anything. That is why I anoint the Messiah. If I anoint the Messiah, it's for him to act, not for me to act. Or else I'll continue to act. No, I raise a king to say, now, my son, art thou. Thou art an owner because I make all the earth your inheritance. You inherit everything. It is very clear in the prophecies. Psalm 78, 1-2. Hear, O my people, my law, and hearken unto the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in Proverbs. I shall speak hidden things from times of old. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable. Semper Fi. A great big applause for the eternal truth. This entity, which its associates are the owners, and are the owners not only of the eternal truth, but the owners of the world, although they have not received it yet. And also, and the great big applause goes for the eternal truth that is turning 16. The applause is for you. The applause is for us. And long live the eternal truth. And also, aguante Boca. Let us back up. Let's go Boca, because Boca, as the eternal truth is of the associates, let the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live, or we swear with glory to die. Hallelujah to every one of you. I will ask you to comment on this video, that you give us a like, and also do not forget that we're gathering money for a new computer. I want to replace this one. It has a lot of problems, and don't forget that as associates we have to pay for the fee. Hallelujah to every one of you. We'll meet again next Shabbat.